We go to Port Elgin, Ontario. Hello there.
My question is, if you were Canadian and you wanted to spend 3 or 4 months in a warmer climate, I know you like warmer climate.
Yes, you bet. Oh, do I ever.
Where would you go and what type of accommodation would you want?
Well, it would depend upon not where I would go. Well, let's see where you might want to go. Tell me, thumbnail, about you. Married, single, age, what do you do for a living and so forth?
Oh, I'm married. I'm 43.
All right. How many kids?
None at home.
Okay, then all I'm getting to is then there are no kids going to go on this little vacation.
Oh, no.
Just you and your wife.
Yeah, that's about it.
What do you do for a living?
Oh, drive a bus right now.
What do you like to do on vacation?
Not too much.
All right, I was going to say, let's separate into, you like to really swing and go out all night, or do you like a place that's real quiet?
Well, about 5 years ago, Bruce, I heard you tell a lady that to try Cayman Island.
Yeah, Cayman is beautiful.
And we tried it, and we loved it.
You like the Grand Cayman. Okay,
yeah.
That's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
That's on the quiet side. I do like the Caribbean, as you know. Have you ever been on a cruise?
Yes.
Did you like that?
Oh, I loved it.
Where'd you go on the cruise?
It's
Caribbean cruise?
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Caribbean cruise, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get out of the Caribbean then, huh? Let's go somewhere else this time.
Well.
Have you been to Southern California?
I've been to San Diego.
Well, that's about as southern as you can get. It's about 8 miles further, and they start to speak Spanish.
Yeah, well, but that didn't compare to Cayman or Hawaii.
Well, it compares, but I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
It is different.
Okay.
Well, would you like to do the rest of the Caribbean? If you've been to Puerto Rico, you've likely been to the Virgin Islands. Have you?
Oh yeah, loved it there.
You like the Virgins?
Yeah.
Have you been down island? Have you been to Curacao or Aruba?
No.
Well, you might want to give that a shot.
But, I was meaning, where would you go to a different place each year?
Well,
or would you go back to the same spot?
Well, that depends upon you a lot. I happen to like Puerto Rico. What can I tell you? It's my favorite place. And for me, it's very convenient. It's just a quick ride down, and
yeah.
I happen to like the place. I also enjoy the Virgin Islands. I am not real enthusiastic about the middle band of islands, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It's not my kind of. St. Martin. What's the French island? It just went out of my head. No, Trinidad is way down, Michael. That's down island. That's off of the coast of South America. Martinique. I prefer to go further down island. I like Curacao. Aruba's okay. You might want to go down into Central America or South America. Have you been to Central America?
No, never have.
I mean, I don't want you to get messed up with Mr. Noriega, that crowd.
Yeah.
But Costa Rica is still a lovely place to go.
Yeah.
And of
never
course,
thought of
you get on a bus and be right there in Nicaragua.
Yeah, but
if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would, but you can.
Oh, I should have some island someplace.
Or take a cruise down the Yucatan.
Yeah. Okay.
So from Los Angeles to Acapulco, you might like that. Or and there's just a whole bunch of places to go.
But would you do that every year? Would you go?
I do.
Place different year?
I do every year. I go to all those places. I like those places. Yeah. When I can escape, I escape. But if you find a place you're real comfortable with, by all means, go on back and do it again. There's always other things to do. I do wish you well, Tiger.
Thank you.
Thanks for your call. Cocoa. Is that right? Cocoa Flores or Cocoa Beach? Cocoa Beach. Hello there.
Hi.
Hi. What's on your mind?
Well, I just called to ask you a little advice, if you could help me out.
Let us talk.
Okay. My husband works for a major corporation, and it looks like he is going to be offered a job in management. Right now, he is not in management.
What does he do now?
He works in bill auditing.
What is he going to be doing, hopefully?
Hopefully, he will be working in the financial end of the organization, working with billing control office in New Jersey.
All right.
And with this corporation, a lot of people go to New Jersey when they get into management. And, of course, obviously, management is better than non-management.
Well, that's not always the case, but okay.
Well,
Let's
at
accept
least,
that. In this situation, let's accept that.
okay. But we are from the South. We've never lived up north, and we have heard things.
Those Yankees going to eat you alive.
No, we're not afraid of that. We're just worried about cost of living.
Or what part of New Jersey?
Morristown.
AT&T or somebody?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Okay, but a good shot, huh?
Right.
All right.
And the thing is, when they flew him up for interviews in February, they were interviewing him for a little bit higher managerial position. He was liked by several. He was the top pick of several of the different people. But they've had a few problems here and there deciding, well, they're moving a lot of their operations down south and this, that, and the other. And now one of the very upper level management types has decided that they can't hire anyone from non-management up to that level manager. They need to start lower. So...
How much does your husband earn now?
Right now he earns about $25,000 a year.
What will he earn up in Morristown?
About $25,600.
You're going to work.
I am going to work.
You're not going to. You couldn't even come close to having the standard of living you're enjoying now.
Well, how about if we lived
not
in
even close.
Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania?
Not even close.
Not even close.
No, that's a hell of a commute too. Let me tell you.
Yeah, we've been told that it's about an hour. My husband's called realtors.
Well, don't you believe that?
It's longer than that.
Yes, ma'am. It surely is.
Oh dear.
Be an hour on a Saturday afternoon.
Oh boy. Well, he was calling places like Bushkill, I believe.
I'm just telling you.
Right.
You're just not going to do it. No,
Okay.
I mean, I'm not telling you shouldn't move.
Right.
But the thing that is going to there's going to be two major differences in your life. One is the cost of housing right across the board.
Right.
It'll be at least triple.
Triple.
I mean, the house that you can buy in Florida.
We have 1,300 square feet here.
All right. How much is the house worth?
We're hoping to get about 78 or 79.
Well, that house will cost you maybe $200 in New Jersey. And the taxes are going to be higher, and the utilities are considerably higher. You'll be shocked when you get your first electric bill.
Oh, boy.
Everything else being equal, the rest of the things are about the same.
Okay.
Gasoline is a little less, cost of cars, groceries and whatever are not going to vary very much. But you're going to have are you working now?
No, I'm not. We have 3 small children.
Well, you will be.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's clear. I'm just telling you the factual life. You will be. Because you're just not going to do it otherwise.
Boy.
Not on that kind of money.
Okay. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you, in 1 year, he was supposed to move up to this next level, which would pay about $29,000.
You're still going to work.
Still going to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't say you shouldn't do it either.
Right.
Because, how old is your husband?
He's 31.
There's no point in being a dead-end job at 31.
No, I think he's got great potential, and obviously some people up there do too.
But you're still going to have to go to work.
Okay.
Welcome to the area.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Sarasota, what's on your mind?
Yes, sir. How are you, Bruce?
I'm very well, thank you.
Well, good. I just thought I might give you a call. I'm an inventor.
Uh-huh.
I was in printing sales for a long time, and I'm one of these guys that I'm constantly making something. Right at the present time, I have 32 inventions. I've got one, and I'm trying to get on the market. And I just thought I'd give you a call and see what your suggestions might be.
Well, what's the product?
Okay. The product is a bait bucket, a fishing bait bucket.
Now, what's different from your bait bucket to the rest of the bait? I mean,
okay. Mine is very unique in that it aerates the water, not unlike a lot of bait buckets, but the aeration system runs on solar energy.
Huh. Is that necessary?
Well, it's free.
Is it necessary?
It's not necessarily necessary.
Don't they usually just work on a little dinky flashlight battery?
Yeah, they use flashlight batteries. Now, my unit charges those flashlight batteries while it's on solar, so that at nighttime or on cloudy days you can run on the batteries. But what makes it unique is that if you're out someplace and you happen to forgot your batteries, or
it'll work if the sun's shining.
It'll work while the sun's shining, right?
Yeah, but let me ask you this: we have to go around the corner together.
Okay.
There are a lot of improvements on things, but does this really need improvement? Be back in a second. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. I'm chatting with a gentleman in Sarasota, Florida. Now, he has got a bait ball. I don't mean to laugh, because I think, I'm not putting you down. You understand that.
Sure.
But and Michael in my ear is heckling me and saying I'm not a fisherman either. And boy, is he right about that. You catch them, I'll eat them. We got a great combination. What a team, right?
Yeah.
But it just seems to me there are so many times in life that we improve upon that which really didn't require much improving.
Well, in this case, I think you might be wrong.
Okay,
I feel like you are, in that most aerators have to be hooked up to some type of a battery, like a 6-volt battery or a 12-volt battery.
Sure, just like a fish tank, Jobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I understand. Bubbles in there so little rascals can be healthy when you kill them.
I've made my unit so portable the guy can take it any place.
All right.
I've had the units that I have sold. I've gotten a lot of calls back, testimonial calls, telling me how great they do work, that they never lose their bait anymore.
Okay. Now, how much more costly is this than the conventional?
Okay. There's a conventional bucket on the market right now that sells in the $30 range.
All right.
This solar bucket will sell in the $50. But the one thing about it that makes it unique also, I might want to mention, is that it has a motor aerator unit inside it that plugs in like a module. If that unit ever goes out, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road,
just go stick a new one in.
Just stick a new one in for $8.
And don't chuck the whole bucket.
Exactly. You never have to buy the bucket twice.
Well, that sounds like it might have some merit. Well, where do we go with this thing?
Well, that's what that's why I call it.
Do you have a prototype, or do you have a?
No, I actually have units that are out on the market right now. Well, here's what I did, Bruce. I'm like a lot of guys. I'm sure that you think up the idea, you make a prototype model, and I tested a prototype model. I went out to different dealers to see if they thought it might be saleable.
What'd they say?
Well, they all said they would order if I would start making them.
Well, so you made them, and now they aren't ordering.
No, they are.
Well, then what's
the only thing is, I'm only in Florida. I was looking for some ideas on how in the world can I get out.
Easily. If you got a product and it's being manufactured, and it's saleable, and there's enough profit in the thing, there's a lot of ands.
Yeah, right.
Go back to this. I sound like a broken record. Go to a trade show. Go to a sportsman show.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about one where the public goes.
No, you're talking about ones the dealers go to.
One for the trade. That's right. And what you're looking for is not a deal. You're looking for a manufacturer's rep or 2 or 3.
Exactly.
A firm. Well, that's the place to find them.
Sure.
When you're looking for ants, man, go to a picnic. Isn't that true?
That's true.
That's where you find me. I'm a firm believer of there was a trade show, frankly, I wanted to go to today, but I just couldn't fit into my schedule. And I go to a lot of these things.
Well, I will tell you that I am scheduled. We already have a booth in the largest trade show for fishing tackle in any one given year, and that's in July.
Well, that's the place to be then. Go for it.
Yeah, I will go there.
Just make sure you have all of your ducks in order.
Exactly.
Prices, price sheet, ducks in order. Oh boy, I didn't mean that. You know what I'm saying? Have all of the prices and delivery, lead time, and all of the things they're going to ask. Because the worst thing in the world, I'm a prospective customer now, right?
Sure.
To ask you a question and get a lot of dumb answers and no answers.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this guy didn't think the project out very thoroughly. Credit the whole routine. Have it thought out ahead of time.
Exactly.
And I'll still eat the fish. You catch them. Take good care, my friend.
Well, thank you very much.
It has been
a pleasure talking to you.
I think you're going to do very well.
Well, thank you.
It's to Manassas, Wisconsin. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for taking my call.
Not at all. Appreciate you on the line. What's happening?
Okay. I am divorced, and I moved away from my daughter and my ex. My ex has custody. I get my daughter 2.5 months out of the summer, or in the year, I should say. Okay, I am debating whether or not I'm living in another state. I'm debating whether or not to go back to that state because I'm tired of watching my daughter grow up through pictures.
Yeah, that's troublesome.
It's very troublesome for me.
What state are they in?
They're in Arkansas.
What do you do for a living?
Right now I'm as a courier.
Well,
and it doesn't make...
Well, then you're not tied to a job then.
No, I could get up and go, but the problem is I don't have any savings, so to speak.
Well, maybe you have to save a little money, get yourself a second job, and put all that money in a stash to get you started.
So, but as far as just picking up and going, you wouldn't recommend that?
I would recommend picking up and going with a little bit of a cushion.
Okay.
To go stony broke, man, that's scary.
Yeah, I know. I've already been there.
Well, then why? Look, how much do you earn now?
It's roughly, I bring in about 600 a month.
All right. Now, what hours do you work?
It's rough. It depends from week to week. It could be morning hours, night hours. It could be real late night hours.
They move you all over the lot?
Right.
Oh boy.
Wherever I'm needed, basically.
That's pretty hard to get a part-time job with that situation.
Yes, it is.
How about weekends?
Most of the time they're off. I can request them to be off.
Well, in that case, get yourself a job on Saturday and Sunday, and every penny that you earn goes into a special account. 6 months' time, and you'll have a cushion, and you'll be a lot easier to move.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you'd be much wiser to do it that way.
All right.
Good luck, Tiger.
All right. Thanks a lot.
I'm Bruce Williams. Stick around, kids. This is Talknet. Santa Clarita, I guess. California. Hello there.
Yeah, you're right, Bruce.
I got one right for a change.
Santa Clarita. Hey, I got a little problem. Hey, first of all, when are you going to be back out in this area again?
Don't know.
You don't know? Didn't I hear something about Bakersfield?
I don't know, really. Yeah, I may be in Bakersfield sometime from now. I just don't know. I kind of look at my schedule a week or two in advance. And I have people that do that for me, and they do it very well. And I just don't confuse myself with 6 months away or 3 months away. But I would look forward to coming to see you again.
The last time you were in the area, I got in a car wreck. I was going to come down to see you, but I couldn't make it.
Son of a gun. It's tough to do it from the hospital, huh?
No.
What can I do for you?
Okay. I belong to one of these record clubs, you know?
Yeah.
And you buy so many records, they send you a free certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, I can understand the postage. But they have a tax on the handling fee. Now, I don't
Who has
that.
a tax?
Huh?
Who has a tax?
The company that sends me the record or cassette, they have, I got the invoice right in front of me. It says price, mail handling, $1.99, and then down at the bottom, sales tax of 26 cents.
Well, unfortunately, you know, this company doesn't charge sales tax. I guarantee you that company does not charge sales tax.
Well, that's what they're calling it.
No. They don't charge sales tax. They collect sales tax. It's a big difference.
Okay, so you mean to tell me then that California actually gets that money?
Damn right.
Okay.
Sales tax is a lousy tax from the point of view of the merchant. Do you realize that?
Sure it is.
You got to go through all. Now California is a little different. Theirs is constructed a little differently, but at least they used to. Maybe they still do. A certain percentage goes to the community where it's collected.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that's unique. Most states don't do that. But the point is, the merchant does all the work. It's none of the action.
And he doesn't get paid for it.
That's right. It's just extra expense for the privilege of doing business. So I don't know of a merchant that wouldn't like to kiss sales taxes goodbye instantly.
That's right.
Furthermore, you're always getting your brains beat out by the customer. What the hell? I don't want to pay these sales taxes. What do you mean? Cost $100, 6%. I got to send the state $6. That's the end of that.
That's right. Well, it's the same way these store coupons, you know. Why don't they just drop the price of the merchandise instead of giving you a 30-cent coupon?
Well, because there's a big difference there. That's another matter.
Okay.
Because people come in to specifically request that product over another product because they're getting a break on that product. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not a coupon clipper, but they obviously work. There's too many people sending millions and tens of millions of coupons out to say it doesn't work. It does motivate some people to buy a particular brand. But the sales tax, that company, believe me, does not want to collect sales tax. But the state has obviously ruled that that's a taxable item.
You're right.
And they don't. So as I said, that when I said I kind of set you up, and I apologize. But when I said they don't charge sales tax, they don't. But there's a big difference, isn't there?
Yeah. You're right.
They collect it.
Yeah, they collect it.
That's a nuisance.
Okay. I'm a first-time caller, and I got right through.
I'm delighted you did. Take good care. I will. You know, and I have some retail interests. And I'll tell you something. Those suckers in the sales tax department are miserable. I mean, if you're 1 day late, wham, 5% on the amount. If you owe, let's say, $5,000 for the month, 1 day late, 2 days late, they want 5% penalty for getting it in late in our state. Now, you know, I mean, forget, well, it's very well, but 5%. Get it up front. Poor. And then for this, you're doing this for nothing. Absolutely free. you donate your time to collect the money for the sovereign state so they can hire more state employees. Don't you love it? Syracuse, New York, hello.
Hello, Bruce. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Well, I've got a problem. You've probably heard lots of variations on this one. I am tentatively involved with a sales company that is really confusing me as to whether it's straight sales or multi-level marketing.
Well, when you say tentatively involved, somebody's pitching you.
Well, actually, they pitched, and I'm sitting here in training. I haven't spent any money.
Well, somebody's pitched you then. Let's start with who is the somebody? I don't mean by name, but what is their relationship to this organization?
Well, they are one of the managers for an office.
What's the product?
It is a water-based air purifier.
Maybe you bubble the air up to the water and...
Basically, yeah.
And it's supposed to take something out of it?
Yeah, about 99.9% of all the impurities out of the air.
Now, let's start with some basics here. Do you have to put any money up?
Nope.
Are you paid a salary or a commission or both?
I am paid to demonstrate or to sell.
Are you paid a salary and commission or one or the other or both?
It's sort of both.
No, it's not sort of.
Okay, I am paid if I go make 40 demonstrations or if I make 8 sales, whichever comes first. I am paid a certain amount.
How much?
$1,400.
How long does it take to give a demonstration?
About 45 minutes. They say 40 in a month is their minimum. 40 every 30 days. And
you have to make your own appointments and so forth?
No, these are pre-qualified appointment leads.
What does that mean?
It means they qualify it, they make the appointment.
What does qualify mean?
Well, how much do they earn? Do they have a job, or are they on welfare?
Okay. Well, these are all the things that you ought to know, all right?
Right, I understand.
How long will they put up with you making pitches but not sales before they'll dump you?
Probably a couple months, but no more.
Do you also go out and hire other people or get other people to do this?
Yeah, that's what's confusing me.
Because
that's their most important thing is to get recruits. But they're making sales. You get paid either way.
That's multi-level marketing.
Right, but see, the thing is, you only get money off of one level.
The people that you get.
The people I get. Not the people they get, but the people I get.
So it's a cut-off multi-level marketing nonetheless.
Yeah, and that's what's really confusing me, because I get paid if I sell, I get paid if my people sell, and both.
I have personally no interest in that common arrangement.
Yeah, that's what I was getting confused with, because if I don't recruit anybody and just make a lot of sales, I still make a pretty good, decent amount of money.
If you make a lot of sales.
Right, I mean, if I made 8 sales a week, it'd be $1,400 a week.
Not too shabby. Can you make 8 sales a week?
We've got people making 30.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That you've met?
Yeah, a guy walked in, made 59 sales in 1 month.
Yeah, but I mean, you met this guy?
Yeah, he walked in this afternoon. 59 sales in 1 month, made $51,000 in a month.
How many people start and quit?
He says they don't have too much of a turnover because they qualify the people.
If you believe that, you believe in a tooth fairy.
Well, I'm just saying this is what he said.
Yeah, and you believe the 59 sales, I think you're also believing in a tooth fairy. Wouldn't have any great interest in me. What do you do for a living now, or what did you do?
Well, I'm a student. That's why it's not hurting me too bad.
Yeah. How old are you?
28.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling one of your numbers. Got Rugrats, the whole number.
There you go. Give it a shot. But I wouldn't give it a long shot.
I don't mind humping around making 40 to 60 demonstrations in a month.
Listen, if you can make them and the product's viable, how much does the product sell for?
They haven't gotten into that. That's why I'm also worried.
You don't even know how much it sells for yet?
That's why I'm worried. I'm sitting here going, now wait a minute. They're sitting here waiting for the shoe to drop, and they're training me how to sell this thing, and they haven't told me how much it's going to cost.
I got to know this. Michael's going to give you a telephone number. Would you call us back? I want to know how much it costs. I got to. Matter of fact,
it's probably in the several $100 range.
Keep us up to date, okay?
Pardon me?
Keep us up to date on this one.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll appreciate it. You hold on. They're in there training. You still don't know how much it costs. Hey, is he still there? I'll tell you what you do. I got a plan for you. Are you there? Syracuse, what happened? Syracuse, you still there?
No, yeah, I'm here.
All right. Hey, I got a plan for you.
Okay.
Why don't you have one of your relatives some way get pitched?
Okay.
And then you have and you could be in the bedroom watching this. Let this guy who sold 59 come over and pitch her.
Yeah, really.
Then you'd know how much and what kind of a deal they're willing to do and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, my training only lasts a couple more days.
Well,
I don't know how much it costs.
Wouldn't it be nice? How long have you been training?
Today.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
Well, I would try to set the thing up so they pitch somebody, and I was in the next room. Be interesting to see the correlation between what they say and what they actually do. And then, when the guy gets done, you could arrange to just bump into him in the corner. How'd you do? If he tells you he sold somebody when you were in the back room and you really didn't, then you know they're lying front, back, and always. To be continued. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. Elgin, Illinois. Hello there. Welcome to Talknet.
Hi, Bruce.
Hello there.
Listen, I wanted to ask you about a couple of collect calls that I accepted from my daughter when she was on vacation in Acapulco, Mexico.
Acapulco, yeah.
Well, did I not pronounce it right with my southern accent?
Doesn't matter. We both know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Anyway, I accepted one call that was for 25 minutes.
Wow.
Are you going to believe that call cost me $80
Sure, I can believe it.
39 cents?
Where'd she call from? From a hotel?
I believe she did this call.
It'd be a surcharge for the hotel, too, Bonnie.
And then she placed another one that was for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that 4-minute call was $15.92.
Mm-hmm.
And I have AT&T. Well, I talked to them about it.
And they said?
And they tell me that in Mexico, their rates can change.
Hourly.
Right. Why can't we do that here in Elgin, Illinois?
You want them to change hourly?
Well, if,
Let me explain something to you. Collect, any call that has an operator involved, whether it's a collect call, whether it's a credit card call or whatever, are inordinately higher than the stuff that you call from your home direct dial in the same direction. If your daughter calls collect, right?
Right.
The thing to do is call her right back. Find out where she is and you call her back.
Yes, sir. Well, I
hang up and call her back. It's a lot cheaper.
I have a daughter who has been with Southern Bill in Memphis, Tennessee for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, that's what she had told us too, but...
Well, you didn't do it, so now you're going to pay.
So, all I have to do is pay this bill,
It would have been a ton cheaper to hang up on your daughter 4 minutes into that call and call her back.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew that. Well, you didn't. We all make mistakes. I'm glad you didn't make a big
Well,
one.
I've already paid the bill, but I hope this will... See, I had no idea how it runs in Mexico, so I hope this will, in the future...
But even at that, suppose it was not from Mexico. Suppose your daughter was now in California and she called you collect, right?
Uh-huh.
You should get the number where she is and call her back.
Yes.
It is geometrically cheaper to do it that way.
Oh, okay. And I enjoy your show very much.
Thank you, sweetheart. Hang in there.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You're talking to Mr. Telephone here. I do nothing but talk on the telephone. And our telephone bills are substantial. I'm Bruce Williams. Stick around for more. This is Talknet. St. Joseph's, Michigan. Hello there.
Hello, Bruce. I'm trying to come up with I have the idea. I'm trying to come up with a way to do it.
What's the idea?
I'd like to start a grocery shopping and delivery service in my town here.
Who would be your customers?
Probably the elderly. That's who I was thinking in. People.
Yeah, that's one place to shoot. Go ahead.
The only thing I don't know, there's none around here.
Well, there's pretty good reason for that.
Okay.
The good reason is it's unfortunately there's a need, but most of or a significant portion of the elderly population either cannot or will not pay for the service.
Oh, I see.
Let's face it, a lot of folks who are in their 70s and 80s, certainly in their 80s, need that kind of a service, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you talk to them and they're still talking about $1940.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean? $2 for that? What are you talking about, $2? Because they're I know, dealing with my mom,
Uh-huh.
Boy, $1.45 for that. I don't even tell her what things cost because she's sharp as tack, but she tends to well, $2 tip is big enough. Well, maybe that was big enough in 1940, but it's just not big enough today.
Right, I see.
That is one of the problems. I mean, there's no question. A lot of just kind of running errands type of thing for people who can't is viable if they're willing to spend the money.
Yeah, this is not a real large town, but there's a lot of elderly here, and also I was thinking of double income families that might not have the time for their basic shopping. I don't know.
I doubt seriously if that's going to fly.
Really?
The double income thing. You know, one of the things is if we were having this conversation, say 45 years ago, that might have had some validity. But today, the supermarkets are open all night.
Yeah.
You want to go shopping at midnight? Go to no. Truly, the deli counter may be closed or something like that, but you can do your shopping at almost any time, can't you?
Yeah. Well, the only thing, in order to find out if there is any interest, should I just go like door to door in some of these areas?
You can do that. You can advertise. If there's an office of the elderly in your community, you can talk to them. If there's a senior citizens club, you can ask if you could speak at their next luncheon. But you see, that's going to give you a skew too. Why?
It'll look like I'm after their money.
No, of course you're after their money. Nothing wrong with that. No, I mentioned that you could go to a senior citizens club. But those are the most active members of the senior citizens community.
Oh,
which would probably be the least in need of the service. The people who need the service aren't getting out to these club meetings and so forth.
Right.
If there's a senior citizens building of some kind, or you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well,
in your area.
Retirement complex.
Yeah, we'll talk to the manager and see if he can introduce the round. I mean, what you're doing is some very basic, fundamental market research. Talk to them. But again, this is another situation where you really got to get your soldiers all into uniform before you start this enterprise.
Right.
How much it would cost, how often. Now, you see, one of the problems you're going to find with a lot of older people is you tell them you got to buy for 2 weeks, they get them going to rebellion. What do you mean I got to buy for 2 weeks? I mean, I'll be here 2 weeks from now, right? But in order to get the thing, if a person uses, pick something, can of baked beans once every 3 days, well, if we're going to buy them, we're going to go out and do the grocery shopping for 3 weeks, that means 7 cans.
Right.
And that's the way that the economies of scale would work in an enterprise of this kind, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But persuading some folks that, again, using my mom as an example, I'd say, hey, come on, Mom, buy 2 pounds of butter. 2 pounds of butter? What for? I don't need 1 pound of butter.
Yeah.
I know, but you'll use it next week or 2 weeks from now or a month from now. But she's established her patterns of behavior, and it's difficult to persuade her, and a lot of folks like her otherwise, that she should do things differently.
I see. They also with people in that category, I know, like my grandparents buy a lot of prescriptions, and that goes hand in hand, obviously, with groceries.
Sure.
I mean, there's drugstores right next to the grocery store.
But frequently drugstores will deliver.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
That's not a big problem. The groceries, though, it's almost impossible to get delivered today.
Yeah.
And the dry cleaning and the rest of it. Get them there. Look, all you can do is go out and see who's willing to pay, how much they're willing to pay. That's what it comes down to. Hey, it's been a good hour, my friends, only because you made it so. Let's do it again real soon. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet.
There's nothing on the market, compared to it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And what do they say then?
Well, they thought it was a good idea to try it out. But of course, they made sure not to guarantee, that it will turn out to be anything.
But what do they say?
Well, they said that they will submit it to manufacturers, advertise it in magazines and different other medias,
Yeah.
Give it, and of course it should be contract for about 2 years and all that, but not promising any, thing to come of it.
First of all, in my opinion, save your money.
Yes.
Secondly, I would be very appreciative if you would send me a photocopy of the letter you received from them. Could you do that for me?
Sure.
Mike will give you an address. I have yet to see one of these companies that I would want to deal with, personally. Save your money.
You want a copy of what I got?
I'd like a copy of everything that you've had with them, if you would. Mike will give you my address directly. You can reach me. I am doing a book on this subject, and I would be very, very appreciative if you'd just give me a photocopy of everything you've done, the letters you've sent to them, and more importantly, or as important, what they've sent you. And I'll get back to you. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm going to go down to Queens. No, not Queens in London, Queens, New York. Hello there.
Taking my call. My name is Raymond.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to get some information from you.
What's up, Ray?
We're interested, my wife and I, in buying some land for our second home.
Mm-hmm.
We found a nice place up in New Hampshire that we've gone visiting on vacation.
This is vacation property you're thinking about?
Mm-hmm. And we love the area, but we cannot afford any of the homes there. They're very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And we are novices at buying land, and I look at the newspapers, and it's, to us, kind of difficult to get any type of information from.
Raymond, let me give you a big fat bucket of rainwater, okay?
Go right ahead.
Don't buy raw land unless you really know what you're up to.
Okay, well, I don't know what the difference is between rural land and non-rural land, so that's why I was...
Right, raw land is land that doesn't have a building on it.
Okay.
It's called unimproved land. Now, I'm not going to tell you I wouldn't because I am, but I've had a little more experience perhaps than you have.
A lot more.
Which doesn't mean I can't get burned.
Right.
But the point is that in the trade, you know what they call raw land?
No.
An alligator.
Okay, I got you.
You know why they call it an alligator?
Yeah, because I'm going to get it eaten up.
It eats, that's right.
Right.
It eats, doesn't bring any income in, it's got to be insured, you got to pay taxes.
Right.
You have no guarantees what it's going to do. If you're in an area where you simply can't afford a house, that's not a crime.
Right.
Don't afford a house.
Right.
Just don't buy there for the time being.
I see.
Either scale back or wait, one or the other. You don't want to be strangled by a vacation. You know, it's one thing to strap yourself for a home that you're going to raise the rugrats in and all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But to strangle yourself for a second home is insanity.
I understand. Okay.
I stay away from the property right now.
Okay. May I ask you one other quick question?
I don't see why not.
Okay. My wife makes a terrific item in the kitchen, a food product. Mm-hmm. How would we go about if we wanted to put it in the supermarkets? Who do we go see?
Well, man, you come up with tough ones, kid.
Yeah.
What is the item?
It would be like a potato pancake.
Like knish.
No, a potato pancake.
Oh, what do you call a potato pancake?
Okay.
It's got another name.
That's the name. A latke, maybe, in the Hebrew religion.
Okay.
But a pancake, it's kind of flat.
Yeah.
But she makes it very thin, thinner than the normal one, and I find it like nothing else I've ever tasted.
See, the problem, when you say supermarkets, it's almost impossible to begin with.
Okay.
You've got to get through their brand managers. You got to get on their what's called a vendors list. Mm-hmm. In most cases, you got to pay them to carry the product to begin with, and all that good stuff. Then backing into the thing, in most jurisdictions, and yours is one of them, you've got to have you just can't rip them out in your kitchen someplace. They've got to be manufactured in a health department approved facility. The packing has to be approved by them. If you're freezing, you got to do it at certain temperatures and all that sort of good stuff. Your best shot to introduce something like that would be in specialty, independently owned markets. Delis. Well, you're sitting there in New York, in the heart of delicatessen heaven, isn't that true?
Correct.
And that's where something like this, because first of all, we're talking about a high-ticket item.
Right.
Relative to what we're talking about.
Of course.
And you don't sell those things in supermarkets for the most part. They are sold in good delis, if it is something that's quite different. And you may have to pay them to put it on the menu to begin with. Okay. It's a very difficult market to crack. And you also have another problem to overcome. That's insurance.
Oh.
Anytime you have a food product, you simply have to, unequivocally, without exception, you got to carry product liability insurance.
And how steep is that?
It can be prohibitive in some cases. You see, again, we're back to the place it's manufactured and so on and so forth. The specialty health shops, in this case, this sounds like a delicatessen item. Conceivably, in certain types of restaurants, you might be able to sell the product. But I would hesitate to try to even get in, maybe, and possibly an independent supermarket, but they're tough. You see, the first thing the supermarket guy wants to know is how much he's spending on advertising.
Right.
Because I'm walking down the aisle. I never heard of your potato pancake before.
Correct.
Why am I going to buy it?
There's no reason to if you haven't heard of it.
That's right. And, you know, people buy, let's face it, why does Procter & Gamble spend as much money as they do in advertising?
Because name recognition.
Because people buy from that. Sure, you're walking down the aisle, and there's 10 brands of orange juice, and you've heard about 2 of them, you know, through advertising, and the other 8 you've never heard of. The strong, overwhelming likelihood is you're going to go for one of the ones you've heard about. Isn't that so?
Absolutely.
All of us are that way. It's a very tough thing to get into. Okay. It really is. You might, but I say try it with a local deli. See if you can work something out there.
Fine, terrific. Thanks a lot.
Raymond, I didn't want to rain in your parade. I feel badly now. I'm telling you, don't buy the property and.
That's the way to learn.
Well,
and I'd rather learn before getting burned.
Hey, I like your style. I keep telling people, my oldest son, where he stole it from, I don't know, but he keeps telling me there are 2 kinds of people, and I keep repeating it. 2 kinds of people. One person, you tell them that stove is hot, they say, gee, thanks an awful lot. Then there's the other kind. They got to smell burning flesh.
I don't think I want to burn my flesh.
I think you're in the first category, and I salute that. Raymond, I hope we'll meet one day.
Thank you.
Take good care. It's tough, but keep having ideas. Keep throwing the ideas out. I'm Bruce Williams. Let's go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hello there.
Hello, Bruce. I have a question about one of your favorite subjects, timeshare condominium.
What question do you have? You know my enthusiasm.
Yes, I do, and my enthusiasm is exactly the same as yours. The difference is I own one.
Oh, how nice.
I bought it about around 1982, so I've been paying on it for 7 years, and I want to know what your suggestions, if any, for getting rid of it.
Well, the problem is that there is a very, very tiny resale market for timeshares.
You're telling me?
And despite all of the people say, oh, you're full of you don't know what, and we can sell them and this and the other thing, but I don't see all the action.
Well, I don't either. And what I've done was hired a couple of these outfits for generally it's $150 to $300 up front, no commissions on the other end.
And no action.
Exactly. No incentive as far as I can see. So I think I've done that twice. And then I finally just took out newspaper ads on my own in the town where this condo is. Trouble is, I've got about $5,000 tied up in it, and I'd just like to get out for even or not too
even.
lost.
If you get out with 25%, you're doing great.
Well, how would I do that? You got any suggestions?
Well, yeah, if you're willing to sell it cheap. For example, how much are they still selling these things actively new?
Yeah.
How much are they selling for?
Well, they say, 10, 11, 12 grand.
Well, if you get 2, you're doing real well.
So to get the 2, do you think that go ahead and go through one of these markets?
No.
Do it myself.
You're going to almost have to do it yourself.
And just continue advertising the way I'm doing it.
Well, not necessarily the way you're doing it. You might want to try one of those ads in one of the national magazines yourself for sale by owner, and 75% off or something. I mean, it's unfortunate, but the resale market is almost non-existent. If you could just get out and give it to somebody, you'd be doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Give it. How much do you owe still on it?
About $1,500.
That's all?
Yeah.
You paid $11,000?
Well, I paid no. See, that's $11,000 now. I paid $3,500, financed it over 10 years, which amounts to about another $3,500.
Well, you can't. You got to ignore the financing.
Yeah.
Because you borrowed money to do something. So you've only got $3,500 hooked in, and they're selling for how much today?
And ignoring the finances, you mean how much actually in principal?
Yeah, you have to ignore the financing.
So I put about $2,000 in principal in it.
Yeah, but you owe you're on the hook for another $15.
Right. So it's $35, right?
Yeah, that's your $35.
And they're selling for $10 to $12.
Yeah, but you see, they're selling them under where they're spending $4 to $6 on marketing expense.
I know, but what was your next?
How long are you going to be? How far away is it from you?
I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Well, the thing is, if you're willing to go there when they're really selling, serious now, stand outside.
Well, that's what I've really thought about doing.
And you say, you want to buy one? Hey, have I got a deal for you? Don't spend $35,000 to $11,000. I got one I'll save for $3,500.
I've certainly considered that and had planned to do it.
It's a real bummer, isn't it?
Oh, you're telling me.
Have you been?
At least I'm not one of these guys that walked in and paid 10 or 12 grand. I mean, I got in when there really was on the drawing board, and it is a plush thing. Heck, if I lived around there, it's a great time and all that if I used it. But the guy said, well, it's a great investment, and that's why I bought it.
Yeah.
Which now it's illegal for them to say that.
Yeah, so they are a lot of things, but investments, they're not.
True.
No, if you could spare a week, hang around the place when they're bringing the suckers in. And have a thing printed up. If you decide you want to buy one, come and see me, because I got one, I'll sell you for 2/3 off.
Mm-hmm.
But just have some good story cooked up while you want out.
Yeah.
I do wish you well, my friend.
Thank you, Bruce.
Hang in there.
Bye-bye.
I'm Bruce Williams. This is tough. This whole timeshare thing is tough. It really is. I feel sorry for these folks. But unfortunately, there's no solution except don't buy. This is Talknet. WHDH, Fresno, California. It's your turn. Hello.
Yes. Hello, is this Bruce?
You betcha.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for all your advice you've given in the past few years.
Well, thank you so much. I've always enjoyed visiting you guys in Fresno.
It seems to come in handy quite a few times.
Super.
My question is, I'd like to know your advice on switching careers to become a real estate appraiser and what you think of it. And
it's pretty tough to make a living just appraising.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Most real estate appraisers are also real estate agents or brokers.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are many exceptions to that, but for every exception, you'll find that the majority of folks do both.
Oh, okay.
Appraisal and sales. Now, what's your background, son?
Well, I have a degree in soils and irrigation from a university here. And
I'm curious, what happened to that?
Well, I went through school as a gardener, and I was making a whole lot more money doing that than I could do with my degree right at the time, so I just kept in the gardening business.
Mm-hmm, but I mean, it's kind of there's nothing wrong with this because few of us are doing what we were prepared to do in school.
Right.
But I'm just curious, how did you get from there to all of a sudden you want to get in the real estate business?
I've just talked to a few people as I've been doing my work, and they've been coming around, and they seem to like what they do, and I just thought I'd, like to
jump in, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I think, as I said, you're going to find that you'll have to get yourself a broker's or a real estate agent's license.
And then go from there.
Yeah, they really go hand. It isn't a requisite, but it may be in California. I don't know each jurisdiction.
But the two people that I've ran into, they weren't in sales, so they didn't mention anything about it.
They were not ever, or not when you were doing it?
I don't know about ever, but they weren't at the time.
That's all they do is appraisals?
Yeah.
For whom? What, for banks or something?
Yeah, one was for a bank, and I'm not sure what the other one was for.
I think you're going to find they're the exception rather than the rule. I do wish you well, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
Hang in there. We go to Modesto, California. It's your turn on Talknet. Hello there.
Hi, Bruce. How are you?
I am real well, thank you. What's on your mind?
Great. Well, I just separated from my husband, and I'm on AFDC, and I'm having a problem finding an apartment. And I know you're not a lawyer or anything like that, but I was wondering if you can give me any advice, because most people, when they hear that you're on AFDC, they just want to turn you away. But I'm a clean person, and I have 3 small children, and I take good care of my kids and everything. And I just want to know if, you can give me any advice on apartment hunting. I know in Modesto, people want 3 times as much as your rent. They want you to make 3 times as much as your rent. And I'm sure I can find a dump, but I don't want to live in a dump. So what do I do?
Do you have a family that can help at all?
Well, I'm not real close with my family. My mom lives in Livermore. Well, that's about an hour away, and she's not in any any way that she can help me. She can't help me anyway. But I could get her to co-sign.
I wasn't thinking so much as financially as I was just to give you some support, moral support and whatever right now.
Oh, well, she's kind of upset because of my situation that I separated with my husband.
Why is she upset?
I don't know. I guess she wanted to see me work things out.
Well, that's all very well. But
yeah.
You can't. I mean, that shouldn't be her call.
Well, that's true, huh? But
You
I
see,
don't know.
your perception is accurate. There are a lot of landlords are leery of folks in your situation because they've been burned.
Yes, and I can understand that. They probably leave the house a mess, and they maybe don't pay the rent. Or
Indeed, all of the above and more.
Yeah.
And some others, I'm sure, have been ideal tenants and whatever, but there's going to be a certain amount of discrimination there.
Yeah.
It would seem to me that would be the last thing you tell someone when you go look at the apartment. I mean, you're obviously well-spoken, you're articulate, and I would assume that you dress well and so forth. That doesn't mean expensively, but you're clean and neat.
Yes, I am.
I mean, the last thing you tell them is that, hey, we're going through a bad situation here. Why? Because my husband just was not the kind of person I could continue with.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change my character, and I'm sure you can give them some references of people who would speak well of you.
Yeah, we are renting an apartment in both of our names right now, and we've lived here for a year, and we've paid our rent on time and everything, so that might contribute to...
May I assume that you can't stay there?
No, I can't, because it's really expensive. It's beyond my, income. Mm-hmm. I'd be paying all my money to the rent, and I wouldn't have any left over.
I think maybe your current landlord would be your best. I go talk to the current landlord.
Yeah, and maybe ask if I can move to a smaller apartment.
Well, either that or say, look, I've got a problem. Mm-hmm. And one of the problems is, and I wonder if you would be kind enough to allow me to use you as a reference.
Oh, yes.
But ask them ahead of time and explain the situation.
Uh-huh.
And now, if it's a big landlord, they may have other apartments available.
Yeah, they have smaller apartments here. But see, I have 2 boys and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, just a minute, please. And, they say that we should have a 3-bedroom because, the 2 boys can share a room and the other girl would have her own room.
How old is your daughter?
She's 4. And then my son is 5 and my other baby is 16 months.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's no reason it would seem to me why that you and your daughter couldn't share a bedroom if it comes down to that.
Yeah, before he moved out, her and I shared a room together, and then the 2 boys shared a room. So I think that would be, that's okay with me if it's okay with the landlord.
I'd go have a chat with the landlord. If you've been a good tenant up till now, good tenants are hard to find.
Yeah, yeah.
And if he has a smaller unit, I'd try to work something out along those lines.
Yeah. Okay.
If he needs a little nudge, if you want me to give him a call, you just call us, and I'll be very happy to call him for you.
Oh, great. Okay.
Okay. You hold on. Michael will give you a telephone number, and we'll be very happy to call the landlord if that would be of any assistance to you. That's tough. Hey, look, marriages come, marriages go. Relationships come and go. And generally, it's the woman who gets, well, I use the word stuck advisedly, but the responsibility for the kids and so forth. And I think that there's a place for a little bit of feeling on the part of the business community, don't you think? I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. Terre Haute, Indiana, thank you very much for joining us. Hello.
Hello, Bruce. Pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, sir.
My question involves incorporation. My son and I run a small construction company, and my son-in-law is an accountant. And he was talking about that if I would incorporate and go with a sub-S.
Subchapter S. Yeah, that means that you and your corporate life are pretty much entwined.
Okay. He was explaining to me that if I'd done this, then I wouldn't have to deal with the self-employment tax.
That's true. Now, do you understand what you would have to deal with?
Probably my own retirement.
No. It's like that too. But what you have to, if you form a corporation, the XYZ construction company, right? Mm-hmm. And you're going to get paid like everybody else, all right?
Okay.
You're just another employee. There's silence. Do you understand what I just said?
Yeah.
Well, explain it to me now. I want to see if you understand.
Okay, if I would incorporate with this sub-S, then I would be an employee
of
the construction company.
And what are your responsibilities toward you?
The corporations to me, you mean?
Yes.
What to pay me?
They pay you and also make Social Security contributions, workers' compensation contributions. You have to carry workers' compensation, unemployment contributions, both state and federal. All of the things that because the corporation is now a separate entity.
Okay. the sub-S doesn't get the corporation out of that obligation.
Well, why would no? It puts the. It is not a question of getting it out. The only difference between sub-S and a C corp is that a sub-S you can intertwine your personal situation where you cannot with a C corp. But you're an employee. You got to pay, as I said, workers' comp. You got to make the Social Security contribution, which is what 751 or something, 752 something like that right now.
Yeah, 7.51.
Okay, you got to do all of the things everybody else does. But still, I don't understand why you wouldn't be incorporated. It's just you have a construction company. I can't imagine operating unless it's a corporation.
Well, it probably should have been years ago, but it was one of those things that just never was done.
Well, get it done now.
So, on a small scale that we are, like I said, it's just me and my son right now. I used to run several crews, but I've dropped back from that.
Yeah.
Is there any particular corporation that you would recommend?
Well, there's only two choices. Well, there's some other little choices. Do you go fiscal? Do you go calendar year? But you're starting a C corp, which I'm sorry, an S corp. All it means is you're forming a separate corporation, but you do have some latitude with your personal expenses. Not expenses, poor choice of terms. Your personal situation, and your son-in-law, the accountant, can explain that to you.
Okay.
I wish you well, my friend.
I appreciate it.
There are some latitudes and whatever things you can do with regard to retirement and KIOs and a whole bunch of other good reasons why it really pays you to have your own corp. Royal Oak, Michigan. Where's Royal Oak?
Bruce?
Yeah, where's Royal Oak?
It's a suburb of Detroit.
Uh-huh.
I have a copy of Moonraker by Ian Fleming.
Oh, my goodness, James Bond.
Yeah. I was told, this is an original copy, I was told, and I was told that it might be worth some money. I didn't know who to go to or how to find out if there is a...
Is it autographed?
Pardon me?
Is it a signed copy?
No, it's not.
This is the first printing you're telling me, I guess.
That's what somebody told me.
Well, there's any number in Detroit, for pity's sake, in the yellow pages. There have to be rare book dealers listed. Give one a call, see if there's a market. I have no idea.
Oh.
Whether this is, if it was signed and whatever, would tend to make me believe there's some value there. If it's just the first edition, there must be a ton of those floating around. Maybe not.
Well, I understand that the first edition of Dune, unsigned, is worth something like $1,000.
First edition of what?
Of Dune.
What's that?
That's the largest selling science fiction book of all time.
Is that right? Shows you where I am, you know?
Well.
I'm still looking at Buck Rogers.
Okay, thank you very much.
But just call a rare book dealer in Detroit. Get a number.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Okay, kid.
Thank you.
I wish I could, and I'm sorry to know what Doom was. Everybody in the control room was nodding. I'm not a sci-fi fan. What can I say? Daytona, Florida, your turn.
Hi, Bruce. I've got a question for you related to a mortgage. I purchased a home and mortgaged it with Company A. Then payments were sent to Company A up until a certain time last summer. I received a letter from Company A saying my mortgage has been sold to Company B and to begin making payments to Company B. In 30 days, they will send me a coupon book.
All right. So far, it's clean.
All right. I had not received the coupon book, so I continued mailing payments to Company A.
How are you supposed to do that?
Okay. Then, at the end of the year, when I get my yearly statement...
Hold on now. Are the checks are clearing now, right? They're coming back to you. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
At the end of the year, I get my statement that I normally receive, and it says that I have been billed for 3 months of late payments. The months being the last 3 months of the year, October, November, December.
Why?
Okay, they claim that Company A did not send them the forwarded payments on time, so they billed me. I wrote, all the while I've been writing Company A letters saying that I haven't received a book of coupons, so I'm continuing to send them the payments. Company B, as soon as I get the yearly statement, I call Company B and I tell them what's going on, and they said they don't understand why they have not why I have not been given a coupon book, nor why
have you called Company B?
Yes.
And you talked to somebody living and breathing?
Yes.
You say, look, here's my address. Send me a book.
Okay. I got a book this month. It's now 6 months later. And right now I've been writing letters to both companies asking them to forward my late payments and credit that toward the principal.
Oh, you made late payments?
Well, they took it from escrow, Bruce.
Oh, you can put it back in escrow. I wouldn't put up with that.
Well, they've taken the money out.
Oh, I'd still. But is this a mortgage company or is it a bank or what?
Company, Bruce.
Not a bank.
No.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Are they local or are they out of state?
Out of state.
Yeah, that figures. You see, how much money's involved in these late payments?
Oh, this is only $75.
See, they're going to eat your heart out for $75. You're right, and they're going to eat your heart out for it.
Okay.
That's the problem.
How do I handle it?
Well, I don't know. You could ignore it, and frankly, I would be ticked off, but I'd probably ignore it personally.
Okay.
And for $75, you got to be pragmatic. They're dead wrong. I'd write one more. I'd find out who the chief executive officer of the company is, and I'd fire off one more letter to him or to her. Say, here's the situation. I would hope that you could straighten this out because I'm the innocent victim of this purchase of yours at a mortgage. Was the mortgage guaranteed by anybody? Was it FHA or Fannie Mae or
No,
Ginnie
it's
Mae?
neither of those.
Pardon?
Neither of those, Bruce.
You sure it's not Ginnie Mae or Fannie Mae?
Yes, sir.
How do you know that?
Well, because when I picked up the mortgage, it didn't have any Ginnie Mae or Fannie Mae, FHA, none of that on the papers I signed.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Just a private mortgage?
Yes, sir.
That's unusual. That a packager would buy that. Well, maybe not. I'd fire off.
It's at a high interest rate. That's why I figure they're.
How high is the interest rate?
Right now, it's at 12. It was good for the last 3 years, anyway.
Well, I would fire a letter off to the principal of the company. Say, look, I understand that there are a lot of papers being shuffled around here, but I'm the victim, and here are the photocopies of my checks. I sent them on time as I was supposed to. Your guys didn't provide me with a coupon book. I don't even know where you were, but I wanted to send the monies in, and now I'm being victimized. What would you suggest? And I'd also I'd get back to Company A and say, you guys got a role in this too. Are they local?
Well, they're in Tampa, which is close enough.
Well, I go beat their brains out then.
Okay, Bruce.
Have a talk with them and say, hey, you ante up to $75. This is your problem.
Okay.
Good luck, my friend.
I appreciate it. You do good work.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
It's frustrating when you have small numbers because they got you. They'll outsweat you. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. Valley Stream, New York, it's your turn. Hello.
Hi, Bruce. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, Bruce. My name is Don.
Yes, sir.
And I'm simply trying to get across my point with regard to a question of employment. I've been involved in the real estate industry for 10 years.
In what capacity, Don?
As a commercial leasing salesman.
All right.
Primarily commercial office space.
All right.
I'm looking for another niche today. I seem to think that I've burnt myself out in that regard. I'm looking to get involved in another area of the business. I'd like to continue staying in the real estate business. I'm looking for some type of direction on how to establish a rapport with different corporate decision makers.
In what capacity, Don? What do you want to do? I mean, let's talk positively now for a moment. Do you want to sell?
No, I think I'd like to get away from the selling end of the real estate.
Well, what
Knocking on doors, I'd like to get away from that area.
What do you want to do? Get into management?
It could be possible. I'm just looking to explore some ideas.
Well, see, you have to be more specific than that. I can't. See, for example, in major corporations, they have real estate managers that handle their holdings. Now, they're going to look for, I would think, a fairly extensive real estate background.
Okay. Well,
values, appraisals, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I do not have any background in appraisal.
Well, see, you said that you've up until now been a renting agent,
that's
basically.
Correct. I've been basically a renting agent, cold canvassing.
Well, that doesn't prepare you for very much, I'm afraid.
Well, that's basically what I've been doing for years.
Well, that's. I mean, I have no quarrel with that, but I just don't see where that preparing you to go on any place. That doesn't mean you cannot go on, but I don't see where that's going to take you any place.
Yeah.
I think you ought to go through the exercise I suggest to others, Don. Sit down and write down every facet of whatever it is interests you, and also write down the things that do not interest you. I mean, get it on a piece of paper with a line down the middle, And then those things that that are obviously out of the question because of your age or abilities or whatever, and there's always going to be some of those, scratch those off and see what's left on the list when you get done. That sounds like a silly enterprise, I'm sure. It truly is not. It gets you thinking, and that's what's going to have to be done here, at least to start things off. It will excite your imagination. Well, why don't you try that and get back to me. Don, I must turn you loose. It's been a good hour. Hey, my friends, I know it's not easy. I know that. But give it your very best shot. You try and do what's right. I'm Bruce Williams. Keep in touch.
The weeks passed, and I didn't get the letter. I called them back up, and they said, no, sorry, we can't do it. The time has expired. So they were saying they couldn't do it. I have not contacted the dealer again.
Seems to me the warranty company is the innocent party here.
Yes, I would agree.
You and the warranty company, the innocent parties.
Right.
And it also seems to me that the people that you sold the boat to have a serious problem. Since they accepted money for something that they, even in good faith, thought belonged to you, they conveyed their interest in that money to you with the boat.
I was wondering if I couldn't go back to the dealer, since the dealer really, in my estimation, had erred.
Oh, clearly. He erred doubly. He erred twice.
Right, that's the way I see it.
Once in not sending the money in.
Right.
And he may have done that deliberately or by error.
That we don't know.
And probably will not know.
Right. They claim an error.
And secondly, that he gave the money back to the other purchaser well after you knew that he should have known
that they didn't own the boat.
That they didn't have any interest in the boat anymore.
That's right.
But if it doesn't sort out, I think we're heading for small claims court and let the judge decide who owes you the money.
Is there maybe some action you could take with the consumer protection agents?
They may or may not be able to jawbone them.
Mm-hmm.
But it would just seem to me it's going to take a judge to sort this one out.
Okay.
Because the dealer made a mistake, the dealer made a second mistake. It's my opinion those people are holding on to something they conveyed to you, the money.
Right.
And I can understand their position. There was no coverage there, but that's not your problem.
Mm-hmm.
That is not your problem. I think it'd be kind of a fun one to sort out.
Yeah. I was even thinking at one point that since they, I bought the boat with the full warranty, let's say. In other words, they sold it to me under that pretext.
Sure. Well, it wasn't a pretext.
Well, yeah, they fully thought it was enforced.
Right.
I could actually go back to them and say, you sold me something that's not theirs.
That you didn't have. Even though you maybe acted innocently, you still did not convey to me what you said. That's why I said I'd go to court with these guys.
Right. And you would go after both parties?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think they're both culpable.
The dealer and the
owner.
How complicated is that as far as going into small
claims court? Well, I don't know. I've been there once. I'm going to be there again. I'm going to file a claim next week. As I mentioned last night, I got an insurance company that is being totally unrealistic about, well, in my opinion anyway. We'll see if the judge agrees, but our involvement. And so we're going to travel. Does that give you a clue what the name of the company is? We're going to travel to court and see how they defend themselves.
Right.
I wish you well, my friend. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. Okay, let's get back to the calls. What is it about this time of the year? All of a sudden, we're here in the big city. There are grown men running around in what appears to be their underwear with little signs on them with 4- and 5-digit numbers. I mean, they just can't wait to get out of the office buildings at night to run around the park like that. And then come back to their offices. Now, you can imagine, after 1 or 2 or 3, however many hours they participate in this activity, the aromas that emanate from there. They're going to be saying, I think it's great. I maybe even raises money for charity. But don't you think somebody ought to throw a shower in just for... Can you imagine the commuter trains tonight? I mean, there'll be people just dropping like flies. Visalia, California. Hello there.
Hello. Bruce, I have a fairly simple question, but it might require a knowledgeable answer, maybe.
What's on your mind?
Well,
let's see if we can provide something.
Tomorrow morning, I'll probably present this to my attorney. But
no,
it's not a big deal. It's a good deal, actually.
Talk to me.
I own a restaurant, and I'm looking for a manager pretty desperately.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a figure that we're willing to pay, a top end. And
that's your number.
There's only so much money that comes through the door.
That's your number. I understand that.
So the fellow that has applied that looks very good, in fact, he's probably a little overqualified for what we need, but a good man, seemingly. We talked about some numbers today, and I was around the $1,800 per month range, and he seemed to be pretty comfortable, but called me back and indicated that his lifestyle was going to require a little bit more than that, and he wanted to go to 22. And so
$45,000 a year.
Yeah, that's a tidy sum.
Well,
and I think he's worth it. But my point, or my feeling in the whole thing about hiring people, and especially of late, I've encountered where you try and lead somebody in with a decent salary, and then they walk on you, and you get walked on so many times you're a little bit scared.
Understand.
So my question is, have you got? And I'll give you an idea or two that I've had, but have you possibly got an idea of how to satisfy his needs for the cash, but somehow reserve a way that I won't get burned? My idea was one of two ways: either contractually loan him the difference of what we would pay him, and then make the loan null and void if he sticks around for say 6 months.
You can do that on a bonus, maybe not on the back end, not the front end.
Okay. The other idea was that again, contractually, we'd pay him the money, but if he...
What's your first name?
Mark.
Mark, a contract, so I don't mean to step on your lines, but I think everybody can see where you're coming from, all right?
Yeah.
What good is a contract?
I don't know. It's only as good as the people that sign it, I guess.
Precisely. To put the bonuses and whatever on the back end is one thing. Obviously, that's controllable and more, and of course, your integrity then becomes the issue, doesn't it?
Right.
But on the front end of, I'll loan it to you, we'll advance, you're never going to see that money again.
Yeah.
It's just not realistic.
I understand.
I wish I had a better answer for you, but it's not realistic. It may be technically legal, and in some places it might not be.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not realistic. What are you going to do? He moves from Visalia to West Bumbershoot, Missouri. What are you going to do about it?
I agree.
The answer is nothing.
Yeah.
No, I think the bonusing up on the other end is the way to go. Now, he may not be agreeable to that. But you pointed out something at the very front of this conversation, which is something that shouldn't be lost on prospective job seekers. There's only so much there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't care how badly you want somebody. There's only so much there.
Yeah.
And
he's within the limits. What he's requesting is within the limits. It's just, how do you look into the crystal ball and decide this is the guy that's going to stick around and,
Well, you don't know that, but one way to do that is to make it worth their while to stick around.
Yeah.
But if they're on the outer limit, tough decision.
Yeah.
But I think you have to do it downrange, not immediately.
Do you think the bonus comes at the end of 6 months?
Whatever the period is, you see it's in your control.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start this Mickey Mouse of loaning money and so forth, you've lost it.
Yeah.
I do wish you well.
I appreciate it.
Hang in there, my friend. I'm Bruce Williams. And yes, this is Talknet. To Cabot, Arkansas. Hello there.
Hello, Bruce.
Hi.
I listen to your show often, and I benefit from your knowledge, I think.
Well, thank you.
I have a specific problem here I wanted to ask you about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having problems with a credit card company. I sent them, June now? 2 months ago, I sent them a $300 check in payment, which was much more than the minimum. I'm trying to pay the account off.
But not what was due.
No. I think like
well, somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter.
$45 was what was due. I sent considerably more.
No, what I meant was it wasn't the entire amount due.
No.
It was just, but it was somewhere between the minimum and the entire balance, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Somewhere between the minimum and the balance.
Right.
All right, fine.
I noticed whenever I was balancing my checkbook that that check number was only shown as a $30 check, and I went through the checks, and sure enough, it was plainly written as $300. So I contacted my bank, and they said that the bank that had I have the credit card through, which is out of state, had coded the check wrong. So they said they'd correct the error and send the balance to the Federal Reserve Bank, and I also notified the credit card company.
Well, when you got your credit card statement, how much were you credited for?
$30.
Okay.
So that seemed to match up, but I figured it'd get straightened out. Then I started getting late notices, and I sent a letter with all the pertinent information. I also sent a photostatic copy of the $300 check to the credit card company, and I expected that by this month it would be straightened out. And
no such luck, huh?
No. And well, I call the credit card company, and they keep saying they haven't gotten the money yet, but the people at my bank say they should have gotten it weeks ago. Then I asked them if they've gotten my letter, and they say it takes them 4 weeks to process letters.
Isn't that nice?
So the people at my bank say they have trouble with this bank constantly, and that they think that there's incompetent people working there, which I don't.
I think they've demonstrated that, haven't they?
Well, anyway, the bank, the out-of-state bank, the one I have the credit card through, they keep saying, well, have your bank to investigate it. And I check with my bank, and they say, well, that's not their job. They already sent the money out.
Well, that
and they
may
suggest
be.
that I write a letter to the bank president.
Nah, that's. Wait a minute. Are you a decent account in that bank?
Excuse me?
Do you have a decent-sized account in that bank? Your bank.
Oh, at my bank?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they could build a new office with it.
No, but let's say you're a customer there, though.
Right.
I would go down and talk to them and say, look, I got a problem here. And I'd like you guys, they're going to pay a lot more attention to a letter from you than they are from a letter from me. And I'd like an accommodation. I'd like the letter to go out from you people. There's no reason why they can't accommodate you in that regard. This business, well, it's not our job. It isn't their job, probably. But I'll tell you what is their job. Keep you happy because you're a customer. If it's a well-run bank, somebody's going to realize that. That maybe it isn't their job technically, but it's certainly clearly their job to keep you happy because you're the kind of guy that keeps them in beans and rice. That's because
the question that I had, and like I say, I've had quite a bit of communication with both banks. Is if it comes right down to a showdown, what type would I have to sue the bank, or is there some sort of an agency that
sue
can
who
investigate?
for what? What are we suing for?
Well, there's $270 of my money missing right now.
No, there's not.
Well, it's
your bank can show where the money went.
Right.
It's not missing. It may not be accounted for in their accounting system, but it's not missing.
Right. But what I'm saying is this: when it comes right down to it, if this other bank, if it does not show up by their accounting, eventually there's going to have to be.
What?
I don't know how to phrase the question. What I'm saying is, eventually, is there an agency or?
No, this is strictly. You still don't make this what it's not.
Okay.
You know, we don't have the Russians and the United States having a battle over this.
Okay.
We got a bookkeeping problem somewhere. And and we go back to what I told you a moment ago. A letter from you doesn't get much attention, for lack of a better way of putting it. All right.
Right.
But a letter from the president of your bank to the president of their bank saying, look, we got a problem here. I got an important customer. I really appreciate an accommodation. Get your people on it. All that guy's got to do is pick up the telephone on the other end.
Okay.
And something's going to happen. Now, up until now, there's been no reason for anything to happen. And you got to make it happen. I would be down at my bank saying, I got a problem. I'm getting an ulcer over this. Now, I realize you guys are not the genesis of the problem, but you certainly could be the solution. Here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
And there's no reason why not a reason under the sun why they can't do it. You see, if we were talking cash, it'd be a different matter. But there's a clear paper trail here.
Mm-hmm.
Clear paper trail. Should be hard to run it down.
Well, I didn't think so.
But it takes somebody that wants to run it down. You got to give somebody the inspiration. And inspiration comes from the CEO or the president saying, Henry, I just got a call from so-and-so, one of my colleagues. You know, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed because we did something this stupid. Now, Henry, you got 15 minutes to straighten this out. You know what? Henry will have 10 minutes for a cup of coffee if he gets to straighten it out. That's the way I'd handle it.
Sounds like good advice, Bruce. Thank you.
I do wish you well. You know, this business of not my job, truly not, but the job of any enterprise, keep the customers coming and keep them happy. Columbia, South Carolina.
How you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, I'm going to try to be as brief as possible on this because it's pretty much a long story. Me and my girlfriend were involved in a head-on car collision on New Year's Eve. I suffered some bad things as far as concussion, and I had a couple of blood clots on my brain, and she hit the steering wheel and suffered a bad case of having stitches on the inside and outside of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The guy got out of his truck, and my girlfriend got out of her car and approached the guy and had a confrontation face-to-face with him. When she came to get me out of the car, he turned around and ran from the scene.
Yeah.
Okay, a week later, they finally caught up with the owner of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he was not driving the truck. He had prior DUI convictions, a lot of run-ins with the law and everything. So we went and got us a lawyer, a very well-respected, well-known lawyer here in Columbia. And what we were going to do is we were going to try to settle up with our insurance company.
Yeah, well, couldn't you collect your medical from your own company?
Yeah, we pretty much could, but this is the thing here. My girlfriend was going to settle up, but see, we got a lot of bills. I was in the hospital for about 5 days. I ended up having about $10,000 in medical bills.
But wouldn't they be covered by your own company? Same question.
Well, see, that's what I'm getting to. My insurance is I've got Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance.
No. Forget the Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Okay.
If you were in an automobile accident, in most states, the company who insures the car that you were in would pay your medical bills.
Okay, well, they will. Plus, I've got an insurance policy that my father is a very well-known person in town as far as the food catering business goes.
Yeah.
I've got a policy that he has. There's a group policy with all our vehicles and everything are insured under one name.
All right.
Okay. My insurance company, we've got a thing called the underinsured. I'm sure you're probably familiar with it.
Underinsured motorist.
Okay, which means if I'm in an accident in another person's vehicle, then they'll pay some of my...
I understand that. So where is the problem?
The problem is my insurance company does not want to pay anything because they say that I'm not a member of my father's household or that I was not working at the time.
Whose car were you in at the time?
We were in my girlfriend's car.
How much insurance does she have?
She's got $30,000.
How about
insurance has $100,000.
How about neither of you are well insured then?
Excuse me?
Neither of you are well insured.
Well, $100,000 to me is pretty much, I wouldn't need to get all of that, but I mean,
I understand that. Hold it now. Just take it. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Take a deep breath here. Come on, act 30.
I'm nervous. I've never been on the radio.
That's okay. Now, here's the thing. Are you a no-fault state?
Excuse me?
Is your state a no-fault state?
A no what?
No fault. F-A-U-L-T.
A no-fault state?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. You don't know. The answer is you don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what your girlfriend's policy would call for. Now, we're not talking about suing her yet.
I wouldn't do that anyway.
Why not?
Well,
why not? Don't talk like that. Of course you would.
Well, I would just settle with what her insurance company gave me
Well,
and just take it over to mine.
Wait a minute, will you please?
Okay.
Most companies have a certain amount you can collect without regard to liability or fault.
Okay.
I don't know how much that is on her. Have you tried to collect from her company?
They're ready, willing, and able to do that.
How much?
In the neighborhood of, to the max, I guess, $30,000.
And your bill is higher than that?
Yes, well, pretty much so. Combined with all the estimates and stuff that we have to have done done as far as facial surgery and plastic surgery and stuff, especially with her.
No, well, don't mind her. She's not the issue. You.
Okay. Yes, I would say that, I would have close to that anyway.
See, you can go after her policy. She cannot. She has to go after the other guy if the other guy's at fault.
Okay, well, let me tell you something else. This guy died about 3 weeks ago of a heart attack.
That doesn't matter. His estate is still around, and if there was insurance in place, the insurance is still available to protect his estate.
Okay. Also, too, that our lawyers contacted his insurance company, and they're treating this as a stolen vehicle. He reported his truck being stolen 5 days after the accident.
Mm-hmm.
They're treating this as a stolen vehicle.
I understand. That's their position, but their position may not be one that can be defended. That's what you got lawyers for.
Okay. But anyway, like I said, my insurance company did not want to.
Your insurance company is saying that you're not protected.
Okay. Well, they said I wasn't working at the time, but then again, I took food to this party, and I took it from the business, and I didn't charge the guy any money or anything.
Why were you going to the party?
We were going just to socialize for maybe about 20 or 30 minutes. And
No. Why you weren't going to the party for any business reason, were you?
No, just take food over there.
Well, how does that have to do with the business then?
Well, then again, see, my insurance company called me back after they found out that I took food over there, and now they don't want to pay me any money because I was working at the time. And they said I have to go through a workman's comp program.
Well, that may be. That might be the best bet. But you also can sue your girlfriend.
Okay. Well,
you see,
I just wanted to call and get it off my
here, what happens, you see, is everybody wants to get off the hook.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know it's the other guy's job. But let me leave you with a thought. You, meaning you and your dad, all you have is $100,000?
He's up to $100,000.
I'd be afraid to walk out the door with that little bit of insurance. Why are you laughing?
Well,
sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Suppose you hit a car full of teenagers, 6 kids, and you injure them all badly. How far do you think $100,000 is going to go?
It's not going to go too far.
$1 million is the least you should carry. $1 million.
Do you think we ought to maybe go ahead and pursue after we take care of our problems on our insurance part? Do you think we ought to pursue maybe a lawsuit against his insurance company?
You don't sue his insurance company, you sue him. His insurance company has to defend him.
Okay, but he cannot be defended because he's 6 feet underground.
Yes, he can. His estate can be defended.
Okay.
The fact that he's gone doesn't relieve his estate of any responsibility. Good luck, my friend. I'm Bruce Williams. It was a week ago as we speak.
Yes.
A week ago tonight.
Okay. I have a problem. I'm going to be in a wedding.
That's a problem, huh?
It isn't mine, thank goodness.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
I've had my trip.
Oh, okay.
I have a friend to be in her wedding, and back in March we planned the wedding. She designed her dresses. She went to the dress shop. She paid her portion. We paid our portion, a little over $27. And
I'm sorry, what's going on here? I think somebody is on your extension. Pick it up and dial him.
Just a moment.
Go hit that kid in the head. Only in America could this happen.
I don't know.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, they paid their part.
What are you calling from there?
I'm calling from work.
Oh, okay. A lot of racket there.
Yes, there is. Okay. Anyway, thank goodness.
Yeah, they're off the phone, those dummies.
I know. Okay, she paid her part. We paid our part for the dresses. It comes to a little over $2,700.
Wow, okay. How many people in this wedding?
There will be approximately 20.
20 in the wedding?
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding me. This sounds like, one of the royal...
Well, it's what she wanted.
you got the bride and the matron of honor or maid of honor, and how many attendants?
Well, this goes for, it's all color coordinated for the hostesses also, for the wedding reception.
Oh, boy. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, her wedding. Okay, we've already paid the money. And the lady called her today and said that 2 of her employees had quit. Now she cannot deliver the dresses.
Lovely. What are these in March?
We ordered them in March,
For delivery?
July the 15th.
For pity's sakes.
The wedding is in August.
Well, there's no reason in the world why she can't get in high gear and get the job done.
Well, that's what I was saying. And, of course, the bride has, they pay as you go, pay for the wedding. No one's responsible. The day comes, you have no more worries about the bills and everything.
Oh, nice.
And now this has hit her.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the lady was supposed to see to the arrangement for the tuxedos.
Well, that's easy. Tuxedos you can get fit in a day or two.
Well, we're not worried about that, except the company she said she was going to get them from is now told her they're going out of business.
Doesn't matter. There's a million. Tuxedos are easy. Guys, they all look like penguins. You know that.
Oh, yes.
Not to worry.
We're not too worried about that.
Not to worry about that.
So she says, okay, there is another place where you can order them from. The only thing is that she has taken this, the bride has designed the dresses. Now she says she cannot deliver, but she knows some place where she can order them from. But there will be an additional charge because she will not refund the full amount that we have paid.
Why am I?
Well, because she's just not going to do it.
Why not?
I assume.
On what basis? She says, I can't I can't deliver the merchandise, but I'm not giving your money back. Now, what the heck kind of talk is that?
Well, that's what I say. Even if she has bought the material,
It's her problem.
that's her problem. That's just.
Oh, I don't think any judge in the world would see it her way.
So you think you can go to court?
I would first of all notify her in writing that, and I would outline what she said, and obviously, since time is of the essence, unless I hear affirmatively in 24 hours, I'd hand deliver it if I had to, that she can fulfill her contract. I'll expect a full and immediate refund, then go elsewhere and hope you get the job done.
Okay. Well, that's.
But I mean, what an absurd position. Well, I can't finish, but I'm going to keep part of your money because I put some money out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She cannot do that.
Well, it's absurd.
And because Rod said, well, we didn't sign a contract. I said, you have a receipt for the money, which puts everything in her favor, right?
I don't think it's a question of favor. If you get in a court situation, can I ask, well, why did you give her the money to make some dresses? Why didn't you take the dresses? I was delighted to take them. She couldn't deliver them. End of story.
Okay.
How much money has she got of the brides and you guys collectively?
$2,700.
And how much is left over to pay?
She says she asked her for whether she would get her money back, and she said not all of it. We're not even sure. She wouldn't even give her a figure as to how much she would get back.
Well, that's absolutely, patently absurd.
Okay.
Absurd.
Well, I was ready to go down and...
I'd get as much money as I could.
Okay.
And then sue for the rest.
Okay.
I wish you well, dear. Have a good wedding. I'm Bruce Williams. Oh, boy. This is Talknet. Well, by golly, we brought another hour to a conclusion. I'm so pleased to even part of it. If you do like what you hear, you could do us all here a kindness and tell a friend or an associate what you hear and bring them along, make them part of the family. Fair enough? Thank you so very much. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. We go now to Bakersfield, California. Hello there.
Oh, hello, Bruce.
Hi, baby.
Really enjoy your show.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, I'll tell you what happened today, and you give me some advice. My son had his car parked outside my house here.
Yeah.
And the owners of the two houses across the street, they were spray painting those houses.
Oh, my.
And all the paint has landed on the left side of his car.
He now has a three-tone car, huh?
Yeah.
The right ones and one the wrong one.
Yeah, and I was wondering, can he approach these painters?
Approach him?
They're the owners of these houses. In fact, there were 3 cars that got paint.
Well,
but
certainly.
His is a new car, and the other lady said, well, it's an old car, she's not going to bother.
I would go over there instantly and say, guys, we have a bit of a problem. There's an ill wind that blew the paint in my direction. And
Yeah.
that car will have to be compounded in all likelihood.
That's right, so he can approach them.
Of course, they have no right to do that.
Shouldn't they have notified him when they
There's a lot.
supposed to? Or what?
The nice thing to do and the easiest thing to do would have been to say, let's get all the cars off the street. We're going to be doing some spray painting. It would be prudent to do so.
Yeah, right.
Now, you don't have to move your car.
Oh, you don't?
No, they don't have a right to do that.
Huh.
But it's kind of the neighborly thing to do.
Yeah.
But clearly they have a legal responsibility to put your car right.
Huh. Well, anyway, I just wanted to find out so he can talk to them tomorrow, because they'll be over there tomorrow morning spraying away.
I would talk to them instantly.
Okay.
Take good care, honey.
Thank you, Bruce.
All righty, now it's Grand Rapids. Hello there.
Hello, Bruce. I lived in Kentwood, Michigan, and I rented an apartment from March of 1988 to January of 1989. And when I moved out because of a lot of problems in the apartment complex.
What kind of problem?
Well, the police were there, seemed like every night of the week, because of break-ins. My wife's car was broken into twice. My car was broken into twice. And this was in 2 months' time here. And then I'd wake up every weekend at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. There'd be fights out in the parking lot. I woke up one night, there was a guy pulling a gun on another guy.
Sounds like a great neighborhood.
Hey, actually, it is a good neighborhood, except it was a new complex, and the crime just hit that real good. But my question is, I moved out, I broke my lease. I told them, go ahead and keep my security deposit, because I told them about a month in advance I was going to be moving out. I moved out on January 24th.
Well, on what did you tell? Why did you tell them you're moving?
Exactly the reasons I just gave.
Okay, well, they have not provided a safe environment for you.
Correct.
Did you do this in writing?
Yes, I did.
And you said, and you outlined all of these little things you just told me.
Yeah, I told the management and everything too.
But I'm asking you though, did you outline all those things in writing?
You bet.
Fine. Okay, so far so good.
Okay, and I have several police reports too, because I've called the police several times myself.
But that's aside. I mean, what I want to know is if you notified them. That's to substantiate what you're telling me.
Oh, definitely.
But you did let them know in writing. Go ahead.
Okay, and now the problem I have.
On January 1 or January 31?
About January 20th.
Well, it's the end of the month then.
Yeah.
So we're only talking about February and March.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, well, I didn't pay for my January rent.
All right.
And now...
Were they holding security of yours?
Yes, sir, $250.
What does that represent?
They tried to say...
Oh, no, hold it. Okay. I want to know what it represents. How much is that? 1 month, 2 months, half a month?
Half a month.
Okay.
Okay, the rent was $405 a month.
All right.
So they in the lease they try to say that they could keep $50 of it for a cleaning deposit too.
All right.
But I know in Michigan they cannot do that.
All right. I'll accept your word for that. I don't know that.
Okay. Yeah. But now they're coming back to me for, I believe it's $305. They're trying to say that they had to replace the living room carpet, which the apartment was brand new when I moved into it. And now they're...
How is it when you left?
Just, maybe soiled from normal everyday use, but that's it at the most.
Did you go through it? Did you have somebody come in and do a walkthrough with you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's a major mistake.
But I have witnesses that know.
But your witnesses are going to be biased in your direction.
Well, they live right in the apartment complex.
Doesn't matter. They're still biased.
Okay.
They're your witnesses, people that your friends that you brought in the apartment. Mm-hmm. You should have had somebody from management do a walkthrough with you the day you left.
Okay. Well, my main question is, they called me at my new residence.
Yeah.
And told me I owed them this money and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them what I had in writing with them and stuff, about the complaints and so forth. And they said, well, if you don't pay this by a certain day, we're gonna take you to court. I said, take me to court. I said, as far as I can see, you have no case. I said, for one thing, they're trying to bill me for the cable cords that I took with me.
The cable cords?
Yeah, cable hookup cords.
Mm-hmm.
They have the hookups right in the building, but I took those myself. But
are they your cord?
Yes, I paid to have them installed myself.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still trying to get me to pay for those. And that and the carpet together is what they're trying to get. And the month's rent.
Well, it would seem to me that the cleaning they may be entitled to.
Okay.
Depending on how dirty the place was. I don't know, and we can't settle that here.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that you paid for the cords and they are easily dismantled.
Very easily.
And then they would seem to me they would belong to you.
Mm-hmm.
if you paid for them. As to the rent, I think they could probably be justified in saying that you have to pay to the end of the month.
Okay.
Unless there was a crisis, you know, there were guys with Uzis in the parking lot, and I just had to get out. I think they're justified to get that at 10 days rent.
Well, yeah. See, that's just it.
But those are the areas I think that you're weak on and strong on. But I wouldn't give it all to them. Good luck. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. We go to the Big D, Dallas, Texas. Hello there. Dallas, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. I happened to attend your seminar here in Dallas last week, and we enjoyed that very, very much.
Well, you're very sweet. Thank you.
Like you, we also own a flower shop.
Huh.
So I would like to get an opinion from you and also a real quick question when we finish.
Let us talk.
You had made a statement that you had sold some roses that you're the cheapest in the country or in the town that you're in.
Not in the country. I mean, that's a broad statement, but I think we're certainly at the bottom where we are, yes.
Okay, and that you had sold them to a gentleman, and he, put them in the back seat and went to the local pub, and by the time he came back, they were dead, and that
they were frozen.
Right, and that you refunded. You went ahead and replaced them.
Yes.
And you said you can never win an argument with a customer.
I think that's true. Yes.
Okay. What are the only aspect that I can see of this? I need to have you show me the other side of the coin for the reason that on the back of our envelopes is clearly printed we have a 24-hour guarantee.
Doesn't matter.
Bruce, you're probably buying them a lot cheaper than I am, and if I have to...
It doesn't matter. You cannot win an argument with the customer. That's the problem. You win the argument, you've lost the customer. Now, if you can afford to lose the customer, then it's okay. Clearly, the customer was wrong in the instance that I cited.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure they're wrong many times with you.
Yes. Yes, but
let me give you an example, a crazy example. This is, as God is my judge, this is true, okay? Lady called, she's probably listening, I'll get in all kinds of trouble here. But a lady called, I happened to be I was in Florida at Disney World when I got the phone call, all right? Now, you know what styrofoam chip is.
Yeah.
And you know what vegetable dye is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a Coca-Cola glass.
Right.
4 carnations.
Sunday, yeah.
1 mini carnation.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 little sweetheart rose for the cherry, right?
Right, uh-huh.
Okay. With a soda straw in the whole mess.
Right. Uh-huh.
Fair enough?
I know what you're going to tell me.
What?
Did her child or something suck the...
No, they can't do that with ours.
Oh, well, we wire ours at the bottom.
Well, we just fold them in half, so there's 2 straws coming out, and the straw goes no place on a pick.
Good idea.
All right, fine. No, this is a little more bizarre. That she took it to a patient's room in a hospital, and it exploded.
How could it have exploded?
I don't know. Her dress was ruined, the walls were red, and so on and so forth. We bought her a new dress.
Really?
Yep.
Well,
because why... When it's all done and said, now, clearly, I don't care if you were an alchemist. You could not turn this thing into an explosive device unless you've mastered fusion. But nonetheless...
I had a guy put them in the freezer and come back, and I replaced them.
Sure, happens.
I know, but you just have to say to yourself, how far can you take it?
Well, that's a management decision that you have to make.
Sometimes I wonder if I make the right decision.
Well,
we're the first ones to say, here, let us go ahead and replace them.
We all wonder that, don't we? Because there's always the guy that you... I went to the same dry cleaner for years, and I spend a lot of money in dry cleaning. I went to the people that came before, was in the family and so forth, and I spend a lot more than the average bear on dry cleaning because of what I do, right? I mean, several $100s a month. And... one day the lady said, well, you came in here yesterday and you wanted better service than our regular customers. I said, you're damn right I do.
You bet.
Of course I do. I'm your biggest customer. I probably spend 3 or 4 times what anybody else spends. Yeah, I want better service. Well, she said, I don't know if we want your business. I said, you don't have it. It's done. It's finished. It's over. And that was it. I found somebody else who was very happy to take my several $100 a month for dry cleaning and shirts and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to put up with that nonsense for a moment. I don't think a customer should. And let's assume that I was wrong. In this instance, I don't think I was, but let's assume I was. The smart person would have said, gee, we're going to do it next time when you come in, we'll do better.
Yeah, well, but like I say, sometimes it can go too far.
But you want to get rid of that customer, get rid of them.
Yeah, I know.
But you've won the argument, but you've lost the customer.
And you cut your nose off to spite your face. Because you're there for service.
Swallow hard, baby.
Oh, gosh, I know. And you know, when you were giving your talk, it's that we almost agree on everything except that one point, and we really enjoyed you more than you know. That's like the second time we've seen you.
Well, you're very kind.
And we enjoyed you. One other really quick question, and I promise it'll only just take 1 second.
Sure.
We're considering buying a home. We have our home, but it would be a home that we would rent. I don't know if we're making the right decision, and I don't want to make the decision until I at least touch base with you.
In my opinion, right now is not the best time for amateurs to be messing around with real estate.
That's what we thought.
Now, there's some good buys in your part of the country because the market is soft.
Right.
But also the rental market is equally soft.
There you go. All we have to do is make that one payment, and we can assume the mortgage of $590. And we thought that we would maybe give it, let my mother live there. But the thing of it is, it would be a deficit. We would have to come up with $200 additional because she couldn't meet the $590.
That's called negative cash flow.
Negative cash flow. This is not good, huh?
Well, as we speak, I'm involved in a couple of negative cash flow deals, and no, it stinks. Who needs that?
I know, but how can you pass up a house for $590, no money down, no nothing?
How much?
$590.
How much is the house worth?
The house is worth $42.
That's what you. If you wanted to sell it tomorrow, that's about what it would sell for.
Right. And all you'd have to do is just make that one payment of $590.
That's far too much.
Okay. I just needed to touch base with you on that one.
See, if you're lucky today, you'll get something like 1% a month. That would be $420.
Right. So.
And this $590 is a huge negative cash flow, which is going to continue.
Right.
I'd leave it alone if I were you.
Okay, Bruce, I appreciate it, and come back to Dallas.
I understand. I may be back in December in Fort Worth.
Well, we'll be there.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm Bruce Williams. Stick around for more. This is Talknet. Hesperia, California. Hello there.
Hello, Bruce.
Hi. Is that up in Northern California?
No, sir. It's about 70 miles east of L.A. for 200 miles west of Las Vegas in the high desert.
Boy, and I thought I knew California. What's on your mind?
Okay, I do enjoy your show. I think it's quite entertaining, and I want to let you know that your screener's got a lovely voice. He does a great job.
Wow, it's not a bad look either, kid.
Sounds like it. Okay, question. I've been in sales for the last 4 years, and I'm really burned out. Sitting in the L.A. traffic the other day, I said, "Why me?"
Yeah, I understand you guys have industrial strength traffic jams.
It's a mess. It really is, and money isn't everything. And I don't need to drive $600,000 or $60,000 pigs. I'm happy with something less than that.
What do you sell?
Presently, medical supplies. It's a good business.
Okay.
Makes me a good living. The question I want to ask you, knowing that you're a pilot.
Past tense.
Past tense. You were a pilot. I used to fly a crop duster. I did that for 6 years in Texas and enjoyed it immensely. And I've been away from it for a while now. And I'm thinking about getting back into flying. And I'll be damned if I didn't think about the possibility of maybe going into the bush pilot service.
Where?
I don't know. Alaska, Canada, Australia, maybe places like that.
Don't know about Australia, but certainly they're alive and well in Alaska.
You know the opportunities, are they looking for new operators or just...
That I don't know, but I mean, you take a town like Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska, as I'm sure you know, for all intents and purposes, only two ways in there, by water, by air. And you watch these guys, they drive in these 210 float planes, they drop in out of those clouds like fleas off of dogs.
That's right.
Not with me in them, you understand. I mean, visibility about 2 inches.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're very much in evidence in that part of the country. How well they're doing is something else something I don't know. And that would be, in my opinion, necessitate a trip and go up and take a look around, see what's going on.
Just thought you maybe knew someone or perhaps had some insight as to that area.
Well, I've been in Alaska, and I will be in Alaska. I will be up in Fairbanks on August the 18th, as a matter of fact. And I think I've been in most of the cities of Alaska of any substance, and some that aren't of any great substance.
Yeah. And
you do see in Anchorage, for example, I'm thinking there's a kind of a lake there, I guess it would be, and it's as tough to get space to tie up your airplane as it is in some parts of California to tie up your boat. I mean, there are a ton of airplanes up there. I mean, it's no novelty to have your own bird in Alaska.
I wonder if it's an overkill at this point up there.
Well, it's a much more utilitarian form of transportation.
Surely.
In many parts of the country, you have an airplane tied up someplace, but it's mostly for laughs.
That's right.
In Alaska, that's not true. It's very much of a practical way to get from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much of a job? I take it you obviously have your commercial. You won't be doing trop testing.
Oh, I've got a mob, commercial instrument, multi-engine.
I just take it right up and see.
Yeah.
What's it going to cost you to take a little spin for a couple of weeks?
I've checked Trader Plane, which publishes quite a few offers of employment. I've never seen that in there at all. Maybe I haven't looked.
I'm not so sure it would be employment as much as entrepreneurial endeavors. You have your own bird, and go looking for work.
Yeah.
Charter work, fly them up to the glacier, that kind of thing with the tourists and whatever. And obviously there are remote villages in Alaska. The only practical way you get stuff in and out is still. And, in an old tail, interestingly, I guess most of them are tail draggers, aren't they?
That's right.
Yeah, even a nose wheel might take a little bit of a shellacking.
Yeah, and they're heavier too. So.
But, hey, go for it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about maybe getting back into spraying, but, you fly it through enough wires and it sort of haunts you a little bit.
And you get to breathe all that good stuff.
Exactly.
I do wish you well, my friend. It's an adventuresome way to live.
Thank you, sir.
Take good care.
Bye-bye.
The old steerman up there and enjoy himself. New York City, New York, it's the Big Apple. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi.
I got some real problems.
Let us talk.
I was going out with this girl for about 12 years. We broke up.
12 years?
Yeah, for about 12 years.
Oh, my goodness. You couldn't make an honest move over in that period of time?
No. We broke up, and for about 2 years, got back together. I moved in with her. And I had a bad problem keeping track of my money. Okay, so I let her control my money.
You let her handle the bread.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And I knew her, so I trusted her.
Well, you certainly knew her for 14 years. You knew her at least.
Yeah, exactly. And I had about $900 in the account, that I kept track of myself.
Well, but you told me a minute ago you weren't so good at keeping track of money.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I spent money.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant to say.
Uh-huh.
And now we've broken up, and I had access to the money through an ATM card. You know what I'm talking about?
Automatic teller machine.
Exactly.
Yes, I know those little hateful devices.
And now that we've broken up,
again,
she's saying that I've stolen money from her.
You hijacked the money. What'd you do? You took the $900 out of the account?
No, sir, I did not. I took $200 out of the account. Okay? And now she has called the police. And now I'm in a real spot, and I don't know what to do.
Well,
I mean,
you had was the account strictly in her name?
Strictly in her name.
And you had no right to use that ATM card.
Yeah, I was given permission by her that I could use the ATM
You
card.
still had no right technically to use the ATM cards for one person. Now, you had the access code and so forth.
Exactly.
And that would give some credence to your story that she did give you access.
Yeah.
What did the police have to say?
I have not been contacted by the police yet.
I don't think you will.
You don't?
Nope.
Oh, God, you just lifted a big burden off my chest.
Well, no, I don't know that to be true, but I don't think they're going to bother you. They're going to say this is a matter between you and your boyfriend. Straighten it out.
Okay.
Because they're going to say to her, how did he get the card? I gave it to him. How did he get the code number? I gave it to him.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to come after you on that basis.
Okay. Oh, God, thank you very much.
Okay, kid.
All right.
Good luck. But learn from the lesson, huh?
Oh, I did. Oh, Lord, did I ever.
Got you covered. Take good care, my friend. I'm Bruce Williams. Stick around for more. We're very pleased you dropped by. This is Talknet. To the Mile High City, it's Denver, Colorado. Hello there.
Hi, Bruce. How are you?
I am just fine, thank you.
Marvelous. I respect your opinion very much, and this is the reason why I'm calling you. My situation is this, and please stop me at any time to ask questions.
I'll stop you right there. What's up?
Okay. I brought my raincoat to the dry cleaners. It's funny that you mentioned dry cleaners earlier. Brought the coat in to be laundered. Went a week later, perhaps a week and a half later, gave them my ticket, and they said, we don't have your coat. I said, what do you mean you don't have my coat? They said, well, please, give us another week, and let us look thoroughly because we have 2 other stores. Perhaps I got mixed up. I said, okay. Went back, again with my ticket, and they said, I'm sorry, we must have given it out to somebody else.
Son of a gun. That happens sometimes.
Son of a gun. And, I think what upsets me the most is the woman that's walking around with this coat. The coat's a beautiful coat, no doubt about it. And I guess it was luring to see this coat. It was a designer coat that I had purchased in New York City.
Oh, well, that's the height of fashion then.
Of course. But the problem is I was a bit too honest, and I'll tell you why. The dry cleaners, when I went back to them and said, now, what are you going to do? They said, may we have the receipt? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't have the receipt. I did purchase it 2 years ago. I did pay $350 for it.
For pity's sake, who has receipts for
I
everything?
know.
It's absurd.
Like you talk about your dry cleaners, and I'm in the professional business where, honestly, if I told you the dollars I spent at cleaners. So now we're at the situation where no receipt, no can do anything.
Well, you say to them, look, I'll tell you what I'll do.
I'll go to the store, I'll buy a coat.
Hold it. You tell them, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to drop my claim against you people. Well, we're going to get in the car right now. We're going to go to your house. And you show me receipts for all of your clothing, and I will drop the claim.
Yeah.
They're going to say, well, we don't have any receipts either. Nobody has receipts. That's stupid and specious.
Thank you. At least I'm finding that I've got my sanity. I'm in a position now where I even did make the proposition, look, I don't want to make a penny off you. It's a bit chilly. I just want a coat when it rains. I will go to a coat, give you the receipt, and just reimburse me. No. So I said, okay, fine. Now I'm going to small claims in 1 week.
Yeah.
Can you tell me when again, I've never been to small claims. I don't know if you have ever been. Or
I have been, and I'm going again.
Well, can you give me some advice, Bruce? I just want to be myself and be honest.
Exactly. First of all, I want to give you a couple of things I want you to do.
And I'm taking notes.
You don't take notes, just relax. The day before the small claims thing, or 2 days before, go to somebody else's small claims court. Get familiar with the courtroom you're going to be in and the procedures.
Okay.
That way, you'll be much more comfortable because you'll be in a more familiar environment. Just kind of watch what happens. It may be you'll be required to go to some kind of arbitration beforehand. Many, many small claims courts have introduced that. It's a good idea. To try to have some law student or just a recent graduate try to mediate the deal. Keep it out of the courtroom. My position in this case, these people are acting like idiots. I mean, truly.
Blundering.
You don't have a receipt. And you make the point that when one buys a homeowner's policy, and you might write this down, the reason that it says unscheduled personal property is because it's not reasonable to think that everyone keeps receipts. In fact, I think you'd find that the person who keeps them is very much the exception rather than the rule. And if you do have it for a little while, you certainly would have for 2 years. I mean, you have to buy an extra house to hold on to the receipts. Doesn't make any sense. That you paid so much for the coat, and it's depreciated to some extent. It's not brand new. So if you paid, how much you say, $3 1/4? I would be. Did you buy it on sale or anything? I'd say that the coat is depreciated 50%. I'm looking for $175.
Great.
Not an unreasonable number. But their position, if you don't have a receipt, is stupid. You have a receipt for giving it to them. And you point out, is there anything on their ticket that says, in order to be reimbursed in the event of a loss, you will have to have a receipt, a proof of purchase?
Okay, there isn't anything.
Of course not. Of course not. There isn't. But you point that out.
Right.
Is there anything on the wall to say that? I mean, these are the questions you asked this dummy when you got her on the stand.
Right.
Is there anything on your wall that, or any place posted in your premises that says that I should be aware of the fact that in the event that you people screw up, that I have to have a receipt of proof of purchase? No. Is there anything on the receipt that I have in my hand here? No. Is there any way I could have reasonably expected to have that question asked of me? No.
As far as bringing anything with me to the court,
you bring the receipt with you. That's all you got.
Yeah, right. Bring the receipt. I mean, I don't have to go through. Someone mentioned to me, why don't you just tell them the price of coats and show them what a coat costs? Do I have to go through all that trouble?
Oh, it wouldn't hurt to have a comparative price list. That wouldn't hurt. It shouldn't be too hard to do.
I want both barrels loaded.
Shouldn't be hard to do. Say and you might call that if you might call a store you bought the coat, and you can say I called, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bond, whatever it was. And this is the price of that coat today.
Okay. Bruce?
Beat their brains in.
Yeah, I plan on. You know, it's unfortunately, you know what else upsets me is my time right now.
Well, of course, it is going to be your time. But there's a solace here. It's going to be their time, too.
Yeah, and I do thank you, Bruce, and keep up the good work that you're doing. Boy, you leave everybody on a positive note.
You're a sweetheart.
So are you.
Thanks,
Bruce.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You bet. I'm going to small claims court next week. I am indeed. Oh, Bill is poking it. Yeah, Billy, I keep using, travel to small claims court because I got an insurance company acting like, the lady that I spoke with had I said the personality of a tarantula and the intellect of an amoeba. And she's giving me this business about, you're responsible. And so we're going to see. Well, let's let the judge decide. And I will, no, it's not worth my time. Clearly not worth my time. No. But it's not worth their time either. Now, I have a suspicion they're going to come back and want to arbitrate once their client gets served, and I'm not sure I want to go for that at this moment. I don't know. I just want to see. I keep telling folks like this lady go on to small claims court. I've been there once. I'm going to be there again. And let me tell you, America will know precisely how I made out. If I make a fool of myself, I will share that with you as well. But we're going to see. But I'm going to have my day in court. That's what it comes down to. I'm not about to have some idiot on the phone. This is what you should do. Phew. Gotta be kidding. I guess maybe they get paid to do that. But I can't believe that the top management knows they behave that way. But apropos of my conversation with Lydia in Dallas, you wouldn't be working for me very long if you treated somebody like that. And that you can believe. You can take that right to Barclays. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. It's Toledo, Ohio. Hello there.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi.
Got a question for you. I'm a painting contractor, and about a year and a half ago, I hired a young man, didn't have any experience as a painter, and I taught him as a painter. But I could see that he had potential as a paper hanger. He hung a little bit of paper a couple times for me, and I decided to send him to school at my cost. The school itself cost me almost $3,000, and I covered his living expenses for the 8 weeks of the course. That was another couple grand. So I had a $5,000 investment in him, and came back, and he knows his stuff. He did real well, but the only problem is the market has gone soft, and I can't make money with my overhead and employ him and get the paper jobs that I need to get. But he can see that there's an opportunity out there, and he has approached me and would like to go out on his own. He can make money himself as a one-man operation, but I can't make money employing him.
All right.
So we didn't have an ironclad, we didn't have a contract or an agreement if and when this should happen, that he would want to go out on his own.
Yeah.
So we're both amenable to, we want to work something out so that it's fair to both of us.
Well, it seems to me, you're not going to like this very much, but it seems to me you're cutting him loose.
No,
you're saying I can't make any money.
Not with him hanging paper. If I said.
But he's a paper hanger now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well,
I could make money if he was hanging or if he was painting for me.
But he's a paper hanger. You were the guy that made him into a paper hanger.
Right.
If anything that he's willing to give you back, I think is gratuitous on his part.
You really think so?
Sure, because you see, it would be different if he said, "Look, Henry, I want to leave. I want to go out on my own." And so that would be one set of conditions. But that's not what's happening here. He's saying, "Yeah, I want to work with you, or work for you." Now, there may be some middle ground. Maybe you could become partners, you two.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But I'm able to give him lots of referrals.
Then become partners of some kind.
Well, it gets it gets sticky a little bit.
Why?
Oh, it's just the scheduling of things. It's so much. Once a guy is on his own, it's difficult to.
Well, you're asking me. I mean, you were the one. You started out and saying I can't find enough work for him to make money, but he can do it on his own.
Well, yeah.
I think that anything he gives you back is gratuitous. I don't think he owes you anything.
You don't think so?
No, sir.
Okay, well, that's...
Just my opinion, nothing more. Hey, listen, I wish you well. You're a nice guy to set somebody up like that and do what you did for him. It's not easy. I understand that. But give it your best shot, huh? You try and do what's right. I'm Bruce Williams. Keep in touch.
We've lived where we live for 12, 13 years, and we abut city property, and we have like a no man's land strip between us and a city park. The no man's land strip does belong to the city.
And what is that property dedicated for? To what use?
Park use.
All right.
But the no man's land is lined with trees. It's like a buffer.
Yeah.
And the city doesn't want to keep the weeds trimmed in that area.
Why?
It just doesn't seem to be a priority.
Well, have you discussed this with your councilman?
Yes, sir.
And what does he or she say?
You get promises, but then, and they get cut, once after you beg and plead and jump up and down and scream. And
how many, do you have a ward system in your town?
No.
All at large, huh?
Right.
All right. How many people in the neighborhood would be affected by this?
About a dozen.
Well, if those dozen people made 2 calls a day to Councilman Jones' house, I guarantee you that's going to stop.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. Not just you. Every day. Noon. Your time to call is noon and 6. Bill Valley's time to call is 12:30 and 6:30. Sheila's time 1 and 7. I was a councilman. I was a mayor. I've been there, man.
Yeah.
You can't get an unlisted telephone. You got to have the phone number.
I've been to the health board, to the city to the county prosecutor.
Well, the county prosecutor. What are you going to get him for?
Because they do have a noxious weed ordinance.
All right, then they're guilty of malfeasance as well.
Right.
But you're telling me, yes, I would do. I'd drive them crazy.
Drive them crazy.
Yeah, and then because what he's going to do is those damn crazy blanks in the so-and-so street. He's going to call the Parks Department, get them off my back, keep that stupid thing cut.
Well, see, here lies part of the problem: is the park is controlled by a separate board. The council does appoint members to that board.
Who does the maintenance on the park?
Employees of the park board.
The board, not the city itself?
That's right.
They work specifically for the board?
That's right.
Then drive the board members nuts. Start calling them at home at night.
Start calling them at home.
Certainly. How many on the board?
Probably about half a dozen.
All right, that's fine. That means that you each can call each one of them twice a night, 3 times a night.
Okay.
Drive them crazy. If they don't like it, let them resign. This is part of being a public official.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty good idea. We'll try that.
I'm the guy that read, when I was doing local radio, I read all the local politicians' unlisted telephone numbers on the air.
Oh, I bet that would have...
Oh, I was as popular, let me tell you, in the punch bowl. I didn't care. I said, fellas, when you get all new unlisted numbers, I'll get hold of those and read them again. Because you guys that break your neck to get elected, you go out there and do whatever you can to get appointed to boards and agencies, and then you want suddenly, I'm a public servant and this is demanding of my time. All you do is resign. There's 25 guys who want your jobs. Let those rascals in Washington. You had Mr. Wright, and he did a very nice speech last night, sackcloth and ashes about how we serve and we do this, and the guy from California. Cut me a break. They spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get elected to that $80,000 a year job, and there's 4,000 guys waiting in line for the job. Please don't tell me how hard you work and how put upon you are. Just quit. We'll get somebody else.
Yeah, see, part of it also is it's not in the public view. The front of the park is kept prim and proper, and this is to the rear where the public doesn't see it that much.
How big a property is this?
I'd say about 10 acres.
Oh, that's good size. Isn't that the kind of thing these guys can go in and take care of it yourselves?
Well, the whole property is...
I'm talking about the part that's unkept.
Right. Oh, that part?
Yeah.
Probably about 1,200 feet long.
That's too big for you guys to take care of. No, I do as I described.
Okay.
The squeaking wheel does get the grease. I'm Bruce Williams. Grease it. I'm Talknet. Oh, he didn't say that. Let me just go back on that. Let's look that over a little bit.
Okay.
How much rent are the tenants paying?
$240, and the payments would be about $180 on this.
Yeah, that's making an assumption you have 100% occupancy.
Okay.
Because you got $60 a month positive cash flow.
Right.
Now that's terrific on a $500 investment. That's all you got to invest.
True.
That's terrific. But why is he anxious to do this? Why doesn't he just continue to rent? Why? Why would he go the land contract route when he's got tenants in there? Why not just collect the money?
Well,
he owns it free and clear.
I don't care about that. I want to know why is he doing what he's doing?
Well, he's offering it 11.5% interest rate. So I felt he was just doing it to turn over the properties, and he's earning 11.5%. And, compounded it.
That's not such a big deal.
This particular, he owns like 80 houses.
Without regard to that, I wonder why he's doing it the way he's doing it. If you're telling me that they are, in fact, all rented, and they're throwing off, I forget the number now, $24,000 a year, something like $2,400 a year, something like that.
Yes.
I don't see why he's doing it. I want to know more.
Okay, well, that would be a question for me to ask.
Oh, he'll have 14 answers, but I'd love to be a mouse in the corner. I wish you well, kid.
Thank you very much.
Topeka, Kansas. Let's get it on Talknet. Hello.
Hello, Bruce.
Hi.
I've been a regular listener and have heard you discuss condominium problems, and I've got an opposite one from what you normally have.
Tell me.
We have a new board that has decided that they don't want to enforce the covenants. People are putting yard art up.
Boy, that's very unusual.
I was on the original board, and we enforced them right to the letter.
Why do they not want to enforce the covenants? Basically, they're there to protect you, and you wind up with a property that has less value.
Nobody wants to.
They want to be nice. They want to be nice guys. Huh?
Right. We've got fences going in large patios.
How many units in your condo complex?
There's only about 35 right now.
What do you mean right now?
It's new, and it's scheduled to have a couple hundred.
Where's the builder in this? He must be crazy.
He voted not to permit this, but he only has one vote. And
how come he has one vote? There's 200 units out there. He owns the rest of them.
Yeah, but when it comes down to a board meeting, it's just the 5 board members that vote, and he has one vote.
Well, there's something wrong with those people.
I agree, and what I want to know is how can we enforce the board, or make the board enforce the rules?
You may have to go to court.
Have to sue them.
Yeah. You're suing yourself, effectively. The easier way, when is the next board election?
It just was in
How long do you have to go before the next one? A year?
Yeah, a year for the election, and then only half the board comes up for election.
Yeah, you're going to have to go to court. The condominium rules are there. They cannot unilaterally, not rules they can change. Covenants they cannot, not unilaterally.
These are the covenants, and they just...
Right. What I'm telling you is that unilaterally they cannot change a covenant. They can choose to look the other way. A police officer can't change the speed limit, but you can't, well, you can, but I mean, you can't force him to write a ticket, everybody breaking the speed, right?
Right.
He can look the other way. They're looking the other way. But if you bang them right in the middle with a suit saying, these are the covenants and I expect you to enforce them, that's another matter. Furthermore, you guys that agree that the covenant should be enforced,
right,
can name in that suit not only the board, but everybody who's breaking the covenant.
Okay.
And I would if I were you.
Well, that's why I want to know how to go about doing it, because
how many people agree with you?
It's really hard to say. There's a lot of us that are upset about it, but...
obviously, there's some others that are building the patios.
Yeah, when it comes down to actually getting serious about it and upsetting your neighbor, everybody kind of backs off.
How much did you pay for the unit?
They're any place from 90 to 120.
Well, you ought to have a serious talk with your neighbors and say, look, do you want to be Mr. Nice Guy and have a $50,000 unit? Because that's what's going to happen.
That's what we've tried to tell them.
Well, somebody's got to have to spend some money and go to court. Everybody wants to be Mr. Nice Guy. It's absurd. It's no place for Mr. Nice Guy. No, I think it's absurd sometimes when they go to the limits they do go to. You know, if somebody has a cigarette butt in the front yard, they cite them. There's a certain amount of balance required, but it's going to hurt your property values clearly if this kind of thing continues. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. Hello there, Fort Worth. Welcome to Talknet.
How you doing today?
I am real well, thank you.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
I've got a problem. Me and my wife signed a contract with a company. They take pictures. You know, it was about 3 years ago.
Pictures of?
Well, like me and my wife, we'll send it in, and they'll send it back. And every roll of film we send to them, they'll send me another one free.
Oh,
back.
yeah. Well, if you send the roll in for processing.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, they'll send 8x10s and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
We decided the next day that we did not want it.
The next day?
Yes, sir. Well, it was the money.
Well, what happened? Somebody came to your home to hustle you or what?
Yes, sir. And we decided we didn't want it. And the evening they came, we signed the contract, and the next day, like I said, we didn't want it.
What is it that you signed the contract to do?
Just the stuff I was telling you before.
I mean, they throw a camera in, or?
No, nothing. None of the above.
How'd they happen to come to you?
What they did, they sent a whole bunch of stuff and put it on your door. Some brochure, and we called. Lady came to our house.
Oh, okay, I got it now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So anyway, the next day, the brochure they sent me had a number on it. I called that number the next day and told them we didn't want it.
How much did you sign this deal for?
It was $900 at the time.
Well, you had 3 days under the federal law to rescind the transaction if it took place in your home.
Right. So the guy told me to send the contract back to the state, and I did.
To the state?
Yeah, well, it was the film company is in Florida.
Oh, well, you had okay.
Okay.
Send it certified mail?
No.
No, why not?
That was my mistake. I just, the guy told me to get a copy of the contract, which I did. Okay. So I'm sitting here with a contract signed saying that I canceled it, and this whole time they have said you did not.
And you have no way to prove that you did.
Right. But they didn't contact me until a year after.
A whole year?
Yes, sir. I did not get anything in the mail, nothing. And I have not used any of their services. So I called them. Of course, the lady's not in. So I keep calling back. They finally sent me another one. This is probably...
Another what?
Another copy saying that I owed the money. Another bill, put it that way. So I called again. The lady, I finally talked to the lady. She said, well, I'll look into it, and if you don't hear back from me, everything's okay. So this has been a year and a half, and now I get something from a credit service saying now I owe them $1,300. And all this time when she'd never called me back, I thought everything was hunky-dory, that they, corrected the problem. So I got this about 2 weeks ago, and I called them, and the lady that I need to talk to is never in. They say they'll get back with me. Well, she called me one time and left a message on my answering machine, and I called back again. Of course, she's not there. So I have yet to talk to these people since.
I would write them one letter and one letter only. The letter is as follows. On so-and-so and so forth, I entered into a contract with your company for thus and such. I took advantage of the federal law with 3 days to rescind the contract and so notified your company on whatever day you did. I was told that was the end of the transaction. A year later, I was contacted and told that the had not been rescinded. I contacted Mrs. So-and-so, Ms. whatever her name is, and she said that she would look into it, and if I didn't hear from her, to consider the matter closed. I didn't hear from her for several months and do now consider the matter closed, and wish to put you on notice that if any damage is done to my excellent credit reputation because of the improper handling of this matter, I'll hold you civilly responsible. Very truly yours. Okay. Every time you get a letter from them, just send a photocopy of that letter, and that's it.
Okay, well, okay. That has happened. Well, the credit part, I found out it is on my credit report.
All right, then go get turned down for credit.
Well, all right, what we did was we bought a car.
Yeah.
Okay? The first bank turned us down.
All right.
I didn't, the second one did, so we didn't buy, I knew we had good credit. Come to find out, this is the reason why the first bank turned us down. And we have to pay 2%.
Then go to a lawyer.
You think I ought to?
Absolutely.
Okay, and my real question was the credit service that they sent me. What are these people like? Do they try and scare you, intimidate you?
Sure they do.
I've never had anything like this happen.
Sure they do.
So they cannot, it says like here, the list account. The account has been listed with our office for immediate collection. I mean, they can't make me pay it.
Certainly not. But you have to do the things I described.
Okay.
Send the letter I described.
Okay.
And I'd see an attorney.
You would?
Yes, sir.
I think I would too.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
No, when they start to walk all over you, I mean, that's crazy. But the gentleman made a mistake. He made a serious mistake. Anytime you send somebody a letter of this kind, it should be certified mail. That way you can prove when you sent it. I'm Bruce Williams. Yes, sir. This is Talknet. Let's go to Louisville, Kentucky. Where else? Hello there.
How you doing, Bruce?
I am doing very, very well.
Love your show. I like your opinion on something.
Shoot.
I work in the healthcare field now. I'm a respiratory therapist. Been in this field for about 5 years.
Oh, you're one of those guys that brings in that little thing and you blow into it and the ball goes up in the air?
That's right.
Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of puffing on those things.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just nothing like it. These after an operation, you blow into this thing to get your lungs cleaned out, right?
That's right. That's right.
Got you covered.
So what I need is I'm going back to school in January.
For?
I'm going to finish my degree in accounting, which I started out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, in your opinion, do you think is that a good field to go into right now? And
accounting?
Yeah.
Well, there's always going to be need for accountants.
Well, that's what I figured. I think my income right now is about 23, 24, with really not much more improvement, 5% maybe over the next few years, each year, maybe a couple more years before I max out.
Then you want to get out of the healthcare field.
Yeah, I'm really not happy with what I'm doing now.
Well, if you're not happy, for pity's sakes, get out of it.
I figure there's much more potential for income
in accounting?
In accounting than what I'm making now.
I don't think there's any question about that.
So you think it would be worthwhile?
Well, first of all, getting a degree is worthwhile. Let's start with that. Right. In my opinion, there's just not arguable. Getting your degree is worthwhile. Now, it may be that you'll decide to go off on some other career path, but you still will have earned the degree.
Right.
And I think that's terribly important for first. Nobody ever asked you. At least nobody ever asked me. What I learned, what they do ask you is, do you have the degree? Now, you're narrow casting when you're getting involved in accounting. You realize that.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of a narrow area, but that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. So I would get on with my... Now, are you going to go full or part-time?
Part-time. I'm working full-time, right?
Well, I understand that, but I mean, you could quit your job or you could work full-time and still pursue a degree full-time.
Right.
Particularly in your job, because I'm sure that nobody would get real angry if you said you wanted to work nights and weekends.
No, I sure would.
Which you might want to consider doing.
Well, that leads to another question I have is, as I'm 27 now and going part-time, I probably will be 31 probably when I get done.
Well, that's why I suggested you go full-time.
Just to be younger when I get done?
No, get it over with.
Yeah. But do you think 31's too late to enter a field?
I certainly don't think so, but I'm back to the same thing. I think it's foolish for you to go part-time.
Well, I don't have that much longer. It's not going to cut down that much. I only need, even full-time, it would take me 2 years.
How many credits do you need?
About, 60, I think.
Well, then knock it off. You can knock that off in 15, 35, 4 semesters.
Right.
Well, if you go summers, you can knock it off in a year and a half.
Yeah, I'm planning on going summers anyway. I'm planning on taking me 3.5 part-time, so that's not a whole lot longer.
Well, I'd knock it off as quickly as I could, but I'd go to it if I were you.
Okay.
I wish you well, kid. I'm Bruce Williams. Stick around for more. This is Talknet. Clarksville, Tennessee. I was right to begin with. Hello there.
Yeah, how you doing?
Okay, I almost blew that one. Yes, what's on your mind?
I got a problem. I was looking for a new place to live, and I was looking in the newspaper and ran across an ad for an apartment, $125 a month.
Boy, and, $125 a month.
Yeah.
That's
a pretty good deal.
Pretty reasonable, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, so I went down and looked at the place, and I noticed it's an apartment house with 4 different apartments in the one house. And I noticed that the lady upstairs had a dog house out front, her little dog out there, you know. And so I figured, pets were okay there. I told the landlady I'd go ahead and take the place.
Did you discuss pets at that moment?
No, she didn't say anything about, pets, but I figured it was all right because people upstairs both had pets.
Yeah.
And I moved in, and 2 days after I moved in, landlady came by and saw my dog, it's a medium-sized dog, it's not a big dog, and told me I couldn't have dogs or I'd have to move out.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering what the law is there. I told her that, because like the refrigerator doesn't work and the stove doesn't work. I told her about that, and she said, well, I'll get that fixed when I can get to it, but you're going to have to get rid of that dog first,
Do you have a lease?
No lease.
I guess she can call the shots whether you have pets or not. It doesn't matter. The other guy has a pet. Why does she want you to get rid of your dog?
I don't know.
Well, did you ask her?
She said that the owner of the building complex didn't want to have any pets there.
Well, did you ask her about the other guy's dog?
Yeah, she said she didn't know anything about that. Yeah.
I don't think there's much you can do about it. I think a landlord has a right to restrict pets in the building.
Okay, then.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a pet owner, but if that's what they want to do, I have a right to do so. North Ridge, California. Hello.
Hello, Bruce.
Hi.
Hi. Listen, I need some quick insight.
Quick insight. One quick insight, Chef.
Well, for the most part, I'm a fairly responsible guy. However, I do have one habit. I tend to procrastinate on a few things, and particularly in this last year with my income tax, up until this last year, I've always just taken a standard deduction and, you know, filed the shortest form possible because I didn't own property and never had really a whole lot of reasons to itemize. Well, this kind of changed this year, and I had gotten with an accountant, and we were going to do that, but with this screwy tax law, we decided to file for an extension. In the interim, I'm not on the, for personal reasons, not on the best terms with this tax man again, and I know I'm past that extension point. And I guess what can I expect right now if I call the IRS and try to get things shored up right now?
How much did you earn last year?
Last year? Oh, it's about $38,000, $39,000.
And you filed for an extension, but then you didn't file in a timely fashion, right?
Right. I mean, if I had, you know, with all the money that they had taken out of my wages, I would have had to, I think, paid $91 extra.
In that case, you'll have a small penalty, and you have to pay the $91.
So I just call them up and say...
No, I'd call another tax preparer and have them do it for you.
I see. Okay.
I mean, the big thing is for you to call them as contrasted with them calling you. They're not going to pick up on that in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later they'll pick up on it.
What about all the stuff that I was going to,
Claim?
itemize?
You'll fill out the same returns you would have filled. Nothing's different.
Uh-huh.
You fill out the same tax return, the same deductions.
So now if a refund was due me, would then that penalty then be taken out of the refund?
The likelihood is there'll be a penalty for a late filing penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't owe anything, the penalty will be relatively modest.
I see.
Relatively modest.
What could I expect on now if I just decide to, again, go the short way and just, you know...
What do you mean the short way? You mean filling out the 1040 or whatever
right.
it used to? I don't know what they call those thing anymore.
Well, the one where you just say, okay, here's the form, here's my W-2 forms, line A or more than line B.
Well, why would you do that?
Because it's easier.
Well, but wait a minute. Do you have a toilet in your house?
Sure.
Are you kind of the guy that goes up there every other day and takes money out of your wallet and flushes it down the toilet?
No, I got other ways of...
Yeah, well, why would you do that?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. Now, what you made $38,000, and I asked, are you married, single, what?
I'm single.
Then you had a fair amount of money withheld from your taxes.
Yeah, quite a
from
bit.
From your salary.
Quite a bit.
This is not a big deal. But it really, it's like everything else. What do you do for a living?
I'm in advertising.
What do you do?
I write ad copy.
All right, fine. The likelihood is, if you were to go find a tax consultant and you said to the tax guy, listen, I want you to write an ad for a deodorant, the guy would look at you like he had 3 heads and he couldn't bring it off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the same token, you're not be the best guy in the world to hire to do taxes.
Correct.
So hire yourself a guy. I mean, just because you had a bad experience with one guy, you're very foolish. Hire a tax guy.
Uh-huh.
Any good tax guy. Give him all the stuff. He'll fill out the return. He'll submit it late. And it's a clean deal. It's not a big... You're making a big deal out of nothing.
Okay.
Well, not out of nothing, but out of very little.
Okay.
I wish you well, kid.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Seattle. Your turn.
Yeah, say, I have a question about some sterling silverware that was left me.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth, I think, about $8,000.
Flatware?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was wondering, I don't use it. Should I sell it or keep it for...
Oh, it's up to you. It's a personal question.
Well, I mean, I was wondering what you would advise.
Well, I mean, it's not, when you say you have this silver, I mean, do you enjoy it at all, or just sit in a drawer someplace?
It's just sitting in a drawer.
You have no use for it, whatever.
No.
Well, why don't you can sell it? It's probably worth more. Is it in good shape?
Yes.
Well, you're probably worth more as silver. I mean, as flatware than as a silver. It's worth more for what it is, rather than as contrasted to its value as metal.
Well, I was wondering about, do you think, like, keeping it for, like, an investment or something in the
It's not going to be. No, I don't know. If you're not using it, you'd be better off, in my opinion, to sell it as flatware. What you do is go down to the store. You say it's in really good condition now.
Yes,
Is the pattern still available?
Yes.
Well, then find out what that pattern is selling for and throw a classified ad in the paper. You'll sell it for 40 or 50% off that number.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm Bruce Williams. Stick around for more. More Talknet. Long Beach, California. That's home of the Queen Mary and the Spruce Goose, right?
Yes, it sure is. I'm looking at it right now.
Is that looking at what?
I'm looking at both. I work just across the street.
Do you really?
Yes.
And every time I come out there, I go visit the Spruce Goose. The Queen Mary, I could do without.
Well, you go see one. The Queen Mary, you go see it once. You have dinner. You walk around. That's about it.
Was it? It does help me. Churchill's restaurant, right?
Correct.
On the Queen Mary.
Right.
What can I do for you?
What is your opinion of multi-level marketing?
It's pretty low.
And why is that?
Well, because it has a fundamental flaw. You run out of people. Quick in a rush, in a hurry.
That's true.
That's end of the story right there. Paul Harvey says the rest of the story. That's the end of the story. The basic fundamental flaw is that it's predicated in most cases not upon selling product or not upon commerce. It's predicated on recruitment of other people.
Correct.
Proselytizing, for lack of a better way of putting it. And there just ain't enough people around. If everybody recruited the way they're supposed to, without breaking the chain kind of thing, right?
Right.
Well, the first thing you know, all of Southern California, that would take about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then we have to sneak into Northern California, Arizona, Nevada, and we'd eat that population up before lunch.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not enough people to go around.
Well, let me follow up. As a young, I'm 29, and I don't want to work for somebody else for a living. What would be a good avenue to pursue?
Well, you say if you don't want to work for someone else, then you want your own enterprise.
Correct.
Well, first of all, don't get the cart and the horse in the wrong position.
Okay.
What skills do you bring to this relationship between you and business? What are you doing for a living now?
I'm a probation officer.
All right. Well, and there's nothing in that occupation that's going to translate itself into any private world that I know of.
Right.
What else can you do, or have you done?
I worked for the YMCA, worked in recreation.
Well, so far we're striking out.
And that's the problem I had when I was a young 22-year-old graduate.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I ended up in probation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, recreation has some commercial applications,
correct,
but they're relatively limited. Would seem to me you have to go through the exercise, which I've recommended to many, many people, both young and not so young, is write down all of the things you want to do, or would like to do, without regard to your ability to do them.
Yeah.
Write down those things you don't want to do, because that'll lead you along even if you write down things on this list that you have no possibility of doing.
Right.
Curator of the museum across the street. Nonetheless, that may lead you into some other line of thought. Then when you've got an area that you want to pursue, then what does it take to get into that area? For example, you may decide that, very obvious, not necessarily the one to go into, that fast food is a place where you have some ambitions.
Right.
Well, then you want to take a look at what can you do in fast food. What does it take to get into it? And the likelihood is it means get yourself a job in that enterprise. Mm-hmm. Learn what the business is all about and what it's not all about. Now, that's not easy.
No, it takes some time.
It takes thought and it takes investment of your body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we separate the adults from the kids.
Very definitely.
You used to say the men from the boys, but that'd be a sexist crack today.
Correct.
Really, because so many people want, but relatively few are willing to sacrifice to get.
Oh, yeah, very definitely.
That's the difference. I do wish you well.
Thank you for your time.
Arlington, Virginia. Hello there. Welcome to Talknet.
Thanks very much for chatting with me.
It's a pleasure, my friend. What's on your mind?
Hey, I have a question. I've got some services that I want to offer that I think I can make some money on, and I'm wondering whether I ought to have my own corporation, a partnership, or be self-employed.
Well, first of all, you may be calling from Arlington, but I got a sneaking suspicion that your origins are in New England.
You know, there's only 99 people out of 100 that can pick that up.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It's only been 35 years, huh?
Right. No, right from Boston.
Yeah, I could tell.
Right.
What kind of service are you thinking about offering?
I'm interested in providing some services with respect to fax machines. I want to rent some telephone lines, and I want to offer an ability to move paper around using some of the machinery that's available today. And, you know, this is the kind of thing you can do from home, but I'm wondering, do I need the protection of the tax advantages of a corporation?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's little protection that you really require. I'm not sure, oh, golly, how much damage you can do. And that's what we're talking about in terms of liability. What can go wrong? What can you screw up? And who can come after you? But I'm also wondering, the fax machines are becoming ubiquitous now.
Right.
I mean, if you don't have one, you're almost out of step with the world.
Right.
They're putting them now in airports and that sort of thing. So you can go up to a telephone booth and actually fax stuff from a telephone booth.
Well,
which I think is outstanding. I'm just wondering what twist you can do from your house.
Well, I sort of act as a clearing point for moving fax papers around.
Like what? I don't understand. I use a fax machine. I don't personally, but our fax machine is smoking all day long. What are you going to do for me?
For example, you want to send a fax to where you're going to be. Your office is going to send some papers, but you don't know what the fax number is until you get there.
That's fine. So I'm going to, first of all, I'd probably know because I make a phone call ahead, but if I didn't know, I'd call when I got there.
Okay, I see some typical problems where folks have people working in their office producing papers and have no place to deal with them, with travelers on airplanes and, getting to some kind of a destination.
I got 30 seconds. I want you to sell me. We use fax, and I travel extensively. Okay, you're a salesman.
Right.
Sell me.
I would act as a...
Sell me. No, this first person, sell me. You're in my office now. Bruce, here's what I got. Tell me. Sell me.
Yeah, I got a number you can call from your office to deliver up some fax material, which I can then send to you any place in the United States that has a fax machine.
Well, I can do that from my own office. What do I need you for?
All you need is one number. You send it to me, and then let me know later on where you want the fax sent to, and you'll have it in your hands just at the drop of a hat.
But I'm in touch with my office every day. They can send it to me. What do I need you for? I'm back to that again.
Well, maybe you're in touch in that kind of way, but I know a lot of people aren't in touch easily to get their papers sent to wherever they're having their meetings or wherever they need the data.
No, I don't mean to be obtuse, and time is getting to be a factor here, but you just haven't persuaded me there's a need for what you're doing.
Well, I mean that's interesting because, of course, if there isn't, then I'm not going to succeed no matter what kind of business I do.
Exactly so. That's the first thing that's necessary in any undertaking is to determine, is there a need? And maybe you're perceiving the need where I just can't conceptualize it. I'm a firm believer in a fax machine, but I haven't seen your need. Hey, I hope it works out well for you. I don't see much liability, though. Hey, it's not easy, but give it your very best shot, huh? You try and do what's right. I'm Bruce Williams. Keep in touch. Let's go now to Cape Cod, Mass. Hello there.
Good evening, Bruce.
Hi.
I'd like to pick your brains, if I might.
Well, be careful. There's not much to go around.
That's not true.
What's on your mind? We have about 2 minutes to spend together.
All right. I am writing a question and answer column, which I'm trying to peddle to some of our local weekly newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you do a similar one.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how do I charge for doing this?
Well, you're going to be shocked when I tell you, but columns, the newspapers buy columns in one of two ways. Either they subscribe to a service where they get a whole packet of stuff and they can kind of pick from the menu and discard what they want. They pay a fixed price for that packet. That is generally available only to newspapers up to a whatever circulation. I don't know what the number is. It's a fairly substantial number, certainly higher than you're going to be dealing with. Above that, then they must buy each column, each comic strip independently. They have to pick and choose. But the going price for a major columnist, for a medium-sized newspaper, how much do you think?
Probably about $2 a column.
How much, dear?
2?
About 4.
About 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but if you're selling individual where you'll answer questions...
Same thing. You're talking about $4 or $5. If that's big money, $5 is big money.
Okay.
For a small paper, small circulation.
Well, that's what we're talking about, very small paper.
Well, then you're talking $4 or $5 a paper.
I would have to find more than one newspaper.
Oh, well, now if you're writing for one newspaper, now we're almost an employee, a regular contributor, and that's whatever you can get, whatever they can handle. But if you're going to offer it to many different newspapers, I've said many times I was really impressed when I found out they were charging the same for my column, because we were the same syndicator, as Jack Anderson, which didn't mean too much to me, and Garfield the cat. Now I was impressed.
You're in.
I'm a good when I get as much for me as they're selling me for as much as Garfield.
You're at the top of the line.
That's right. I was pretty impressed with that. Mr. Anderson is a hell of a guy, but I mean that didn't impress me. But I was in there in the same league with Garfield. I thought that was pretty good. Hey, listen. The thing is that at the beginning, get it in any place.
All right.
You got to establish yourself somewhere, and then go from there. I do wish you well with it.
Thanks.
Hey, tomorrow between 2:30 and 6:30, usual thing. We'll be here. Hope you'll be too. I'm Bruce Williams, and this is Talknet. Borough, Maryland, you are number 1. Hello.
Hello, Bruce.
Hello, sweetheart. What's on your mind?
I'm going through some tough times, and I am hoping that you'll be the help for me.
What's happening, kid?
I opened up a retail store about 10 months ago.
What kind of store?
It's floor covering, all kinds of floor covering.
All right.
And I have a 5-year lease on it.
Mm-hmm.
Business is bad. I mean, so bad that I won't even make enough money to pay my rent.
Why has business so lousy?
I guess it's not the right location for that kind of business.
All right.
Plus the fact that the shopping center that I'm in it is a new shopping center. And it's not, it's not highly trafficked or anything. And I can't claim bankruptcy because there are other businesses involved with the same company name. So if I claim bankruptcy...
What does that mean? You have other locations, you mean?
Yes. This is our third location.
Oh, okay. You started to open up several units and you had a bad one.
Yeah.
I can sympathize, Bubby, because I've been there. It's got a bite you got to swallow hard. I know what you're telling me. You're telling me you're on the lease.
Yes.
And you can't get off the lease.
I can't get out the lease.
You got to pay it, or you got to sublet it, one of the two.
Is that the only...
Well, I don't know what does the lease provide? I mean, a lot of them provide that you can get out with 3 months rent or 4 months, 6 months rent. What does the lease say?
I'm stuck with the bloody thing for 5 years.
You're stuck with it for 5 years, lady.
Yes.
Unless you can negotiate your way out.
How can I negotiate? I mean, what are the...
Cash.
Cash?
Yeah, you say, you're not going to like what I'm telling you. You may go to the landlord and say, look, I want out. How much? And he'll say, what's your monthly rent?
Right, every year it goes up.
What is it right now?
I'm paying $3,400.
Oh, boy.
And next year it's going to go higher for 5 years.
He might want 6 months rent.
I'm willing to pay.
Well, go talk. Negotiate. Now, you see, don't go. The first thing, walk in there and tell him you can't go bankrupt.
Uh-huh. I can't. He knows I can't because, he knows that there are other companies involved. So I claim...
Hold it. Don't tell him that.
He knows.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe he does and maybe he doesn't.
Uh-huh.
The fact that you have another store with the same name doesn't mean it's in the same corporate structure unless you told him that.
He knows.
How does he know?
Because this is a family business.
I don't care. First of all, is this not a separate corporation?
No.
Why didn't you do it that way?
Because I never thought this place was going to be like this.
Well, nobody thinks it's going to be that way. You wouldn't open, but you protect yourself against the possibility, not necessarily the eventuality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, each store should be a separate corporation.
Yeah.
But then they'd probably want your personal signature.
That's right.
You're on the hook for Oh, my goodness, about $180,000, $200,000.
Exactly.
Negotiate, honey.
I mean, they won't say that I'm...
Hey, man, I don't know what they're going to say.
Bribe or anything?
I don't know. What's that?
Bribe or anything?
That's not a bribe. You're in a contract, and you want to break the contract.
Mm-hmm.
What is it going to... Can you sublet the store?
Yes.
Well, why don't you try to do that?
God, it is so hard. I mean, we have talked to them a few times, and they keep saying that, you know, a real estate agency knows, and, you know, we are under the computer, you know, they're trying to find somebody. But that shopping center is just dead, and I guess everybody knows that, you know, it's not a good shopping center.
You got a real tiger by the tail. Do you have a lawyer?
No, not yet.
Well, you should. When you signed the lease, you didn't use a lawyer then either?
Yes, we did.
Well, did your lawyer not... Well, I don't know what you did. What do you use this guy for? I mean, did he not say that you want to consider setting up a separate company?
No.
I wish I could help you.
So
try and negotiate your way out.
That's the only way, right?
I don't know any other way.
Okay.
Good luck, honey.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Hey, listen, I've been there. I know exactly what she's going through. Jed Duvall's hometown, Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello there.
Hi, Bruce. Boy, this is great.
I'm so
my husband and I are long-time listeners, and I'm a first-time caller.
Well, I'm glad you got to it, Bubby. What's on your mind?
Well, let's see. She said try to be concise.
Concise, brief, and also don't talk too much, huh? Is that what that rascal in there told you?
Oh, gee. Okay. Several years ago, we contracted in a remodel job to have kitchen cabinets made, custom made.
Mm-hmm.
We took our kitchen back to the walls.
Okay.
Knew everything. New floor, knew everything.
Gotcha.
Okay. We contracted, and the deal was for the cabinets made, our installers, and...
Hold it. Made what?
The kitchen cabinets custom made to our specifications.
Yeah.
And they would be delivered at a certain date.
Yeah.
And we would install.
Oh, you got a separate installation.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Mistake there, but go ahead.
No, well, it turned out differently after all. But anyway.
All right, go ahead.
And the deal was that we were to pay a third at the time of the order.
All right.
A third of the way, half the way through, and a third upon completion.
Well, how do you... No, wait a minute. You're talking about a third when you place the order, then a third at some date when they say, okay, we're halfway through? How are you supposed to know they're halfway through?
Because we had a ship date.
Without regard to that, if they lie to you, how do you know?
No, we got them on the date.
That isn't the issue.
No, it isn't the issue.
What I want to know is, how would you know? I'm just curious. The guy says, all right, Henrietta, I'm halfway through. Send the check. How do you know he's halfway through?
Well, we went out and looked at him.
Oh, you did. That's the answer to the question.
Yeah. We went out and looked at him. Nevertheless, in other words, what I'm trying to get at is we lived up to our obligations as stated in the contract.
All right.
So now we say, at the certain date, the cabinets are going to be delivered. And at this point, he says, oh, gosh, he says, boy, you sure? And my husband said, yes, absolutely, because that's when I'm taking time off work, and that's when the people are here putting in all the extras that need to be. So anyway, the cabinets come. And they're a terrible color. The finish is awful. We had given them a sample, of what the color was supposed to be. Anyway,
and they got 2/3 of your money.
And now they've got 2/3 of our money, right? So anyway, they're not right. And the person who's in charge of the company, he's very helpful. He's very agreeable and everything. The bottom line here is, it's been nearly 2 years. Just today, we got back some more pieces because the finish had to be a special finish because the color wasn't right and the only thing you could do and blah, blah, blah. And
you've been horsing around with cabinets for 2 years?
2 years, yes. And the color came back. One door is right. They had to remix, and the doors are a totally different color.
Boy, you're a patient lady.
Well, we try to be. Anyway, the thing is, I said, enough is enough. He's still being... helpful, and he's still trying to be, in other words, he's still trying to fulfill his part of the contract.
Let me ask you what might be a stupid question, but is this some kind of very esoteric, odd color, or is this pretty pedestrian, he's just screwing up?
It's just pretty pedestrian, but it's a glaze as opposed to a stain because the stain wasn't... right and all this. So,
no big deal.
well, it's just a plain color. I mean, it's nothing real fancy.
So what is the problem? Why is he fouling it up like this?
I don't, because he's got this fella who's good with putting on this glaze. It's particularly hard to put on, and I guess he's real hard to get a hold of. He always is. He kind of works at funny hours, but I mean, he's good when it's done. It's nice.
When he's
but
sober,
then he
huh?
keeps chipping off, you know, little by little, and so he says, "Now I'll do what it takes to make it right." But after 2 years, my position in this is, and this is what I wanted to ask you, and you may or may not know the answer. My husband happens to be by education an attorney, but he doesn't practice, okay? So he's not sure about this. I said, I'm going to ask Bruce Williams. The company has changed. The person is the same, and he's still at the same location, and he's still, you know, doing business as he has been before, but he's taken on a new partner, and he's taken a new name. Do we have any recourse? Because we've given until the end of the week to say, look, you've got to do something. The last time they had the fronts of the doors for 2.5 months, and they've come back wrong. What is that condition?
You're still holding a third of his money, huh?
No, he's fully paid.
Well, why in the world did you pay him?
Because at that one point, everything looked 95% good.
Then why didn't you give him 95% of the money?
Well, because we try to be as good a people as we can be.
That is not being good. That's being foolish.
I know, but and he's still hanging with us, but it just takes lots of time.
Then that's, you see, you've just blown away your ammunition belt.
Yeah, I know.
Without the money, where are you going to go?
Well, that's the question. If we want to have some recourse, it's got to be legal now, and we're just wondering with the change in the company.
What happened to the old company? I don't think you know.
Well, he's still in the location.
No. I don't care about that.
Yeah,
That's exactly, you don't know.
We don't know.
If he had a corporation, was it dissolved?
Yeah, we don't know.
And until you know that, I mean, whether he was trading as an individual, we don't know. Because how can anybody answer that?
Yeah.
I think at this point, you've made your bed, keep swimming.
What would you recommend doing?
That's it. Just keep working with him, because once you pay him, you've given up the farm.
Yeah.
How much these cabinets cost?
$5,000.
See, I mean, I don't know how you determine your damages. You could call another craftsman in and get an estimate to do what's right.
Yeah.
But we don't know even he'd do it right. He may be going to the same subcontractor. I don't know.
Yeah. The one he's got is taking so long. I mean, they're all very nice people, too.
You're being nice. You know, you could live and die while they're being nice.
I know.
If it were me, I would say the guy, dear Lord.
I'm too old to have this. I just want a nice...
Gracious, your second childhood here, huh?
What's the possibilities in this that, okay, if the company was incorporated, but it didn't say Inc. on it, it was just the name of a company, and it was somehow beyond his personal.
Well, I don't know how he would do that.
It would have to have ink on it, huh?
Well, I don't know that either. In some states, it's necessary to show incorporated, in others, it's not.
It's not. Okay.
I don't know about Indiana.
You don't know about Indiana. Okay, but if it is
if it's not a corporation, then he is still, because this is an ongoing thing, he would be civilly liable himself.
Okay.
So we have to determine that. But at this point, I think you're just going to have to keep working along with the guy.
Okay.
As long as when he gets recalcitrant, then we have to start something else.
What if he gets what?
Hard to deal with.
Hard to deal with.
Take good care, sweetheart.
Thanks very
much. There's a
much.
real lesson there, though.
You're right.
Don't
Bye-bye,
let the rascals get ahead of you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. I'm Bruce Williams. Oh, by the way, tomorrow between 2:30 and 6:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 2:30 to 6:30, we'll be here taking those calls of yours, as we do every Wednesday, or almost every Wednesday, off the air for broadcast at a future date. So I hope you're part of it. Okay, kids, this is Bruce, and this is Talknet. Jackson, Minnesota. Hello there. Welcome to Talknet.
Oh, hi, Bruce.
Hi.
You make my supper washing dishes go faster. I just love listening to you when I got to do dishes.
You both have dishpan hands here, huh?
Yeah, but I have a question. My husband and I, we have a daughter, 7. We've lived in this town for about 5 years, so I've gotten to know quite a few parents. And we've raised our daughter to always like everybody. We've moved into a house that we just bought now, and it's close to the neighborhood we've always lived in. But there's a girl who my daughter met, who lives about 2 blocks away, and there's a park in between our houses, a playground park.
This other child, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have gotten to know each other through the summer months of no school.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also had another girlfriend who I know the mother of. She's also 7 and gone to school with my daughter. But the new little girl on the block is about 10. And 10 years old.
It's a little. That's quite a spread for 7-year-olds playing 10-year-olds, isn't it?
Well, it's a small park. It's a small park in between our house, and I'm home all day. So, boy, I'll tell you, I supervise. I'm home a lot, and I'm outside checking on them kids all the time. But the problem is the 3 girls play. The 2 have gone to school together. I know the mother. Okay, now the new little girl comes over here. She's a nice enough girl. I like her. She's well-mannered. But we have found out, the other mother and I, that this family's got lice.
Mm-hmm.
And our 2 girls have come down with it.
Mm-hmm.
So all weekend, all we've done is clean house and spray, and the 2 mothers and I have communicated with each other, and the one mother got a hold of this 10-year-old's mother.
Talking about head lice or body lice?
Head.
Mm-hmm.
So when she called this little girl's mother, the little girl's mother said, well, I've got the shampoo and we'll do the hair, but I don't need the spray, I'll just clean house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is we feel that she hasn't cleaned house well enough because our daughters, come to find out, said, oh, well, we've seen this bottle of shampoo and this little comb at their house a long time ago when we started playing there. Like they've had it before and never said nothing to us, but this...
Well, people, let's stop right there. People, first of all, having lice is, I know you find it repugnant and whatever, but it's not the end of the world.
No, I know.
It really isn't. Okay, let's start with that. Now, it certainly, and it's not necessarily a reflection on anybody's housekeeping either.
Okay.
I mean, it just is not.
Okay. You got to see how the little boy and baby dress, though. They look just filthy.
Well, but that doesn't mean it. I just said it is not necessary. Well, I mean, how's your house?
I try to be a real good housekeeper.
But your daughter had lice, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is, nice people get lice.
Yeah.
It is not necessarily, that was the operative term, a reflection on their housekeeping. Maybe these people just are not clean.
Okay.
And in that case, you just don't want your kids with them if they're unclean.
How do I avoid it when this 10-year-old daughter keeps wanting to play over here at our house, and I don't want to be rude to the little girl and say, my daughter can't play with you anymore.
That's a serious problem, and you might want to discuss that with this child's mother. Your child's a nice kid and you're a nice lady, and this may be an occasional incident. On the other side of that apparently she seems amenable to talking because she did talk to you about it, and she may not have a handle. And frankly, I don't know what's necessary to sanitize your house. I mean, it's not going to come as a great shock if I said I've had lice during my lifetime.
I guess it is to me.
Is it really? Well, ask anybody who's been in the military, in living under less than sanitary conditions for a few months.
Yeah.
Listen, my lice will race your lice, kind of thing.
What's the chances of the little girl coming in our house playing with our little girl and it getting in our house again?
Well, first of all, I don't think I don't know the answer to this really.
Okay.
I don't think they live very long off a host.
Okay.
They got to be on the host. That's the human being.
Okay.
And they can be controlled today with shampoos very quickly. And as I'm sure you know, if you have an older person with how we get into this, a lot of body hair, you want to shampoo the whole body of that stuff.
Sure.
Because they live at the hair follicle, if memory serves me.
Do cats carry it? They have cats over in their house.
Well, cats can... I don't know the answer. I just don't know the answer.
Okay.
Human lice, I think, are pretty much restricted to humans, but I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know they can be controlled. I have a talk with a lady and say, look, this is not a rare social disease, and we're not going to ostracize you, but we are very particular, and we would like to hope that you're particular, and if this does happen again, then we'll have to do something about our daughters playing together, and that's the last thing we want to do.
Okay.
Is there something we can do to help you? You might squander them and so forth.
Yeah, I think their money's tight
But
because
it's,
spray doesn't come cheap.
Well, you might say, look, I got half a can of spray here. Why don't you take it?
Okay.
That kind of stuff. I mean, you don't make it easy out of that one.
No, because now I've just always raised her, don't shun nobody, and I don't want to do that either. And I can remember, kids can be cruel.
They can indeed, but just as I said, it's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant topic.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about herpes either.
Yeah, right.
I wish you well, dear.
Thank you.
Hang in there.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, listen, I used to be in the school business, and I had 5 kids. And I was also in the military. And Sheila said, not me. She's never had this happen to her. But it does happen. It happens in the best of families. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. Rio Grande, California. Hello there. Welcome to Talknet.
Bruce, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Your show is wonderful.
Well, thank you very much.
I hope you can help me with a little dilemma I'm in. I am an independent contractor. I'm dealing with a company as a route distributor. I receive a 1099. I receive commission checks. I started with this company approximately 6 months ago.
Yeah. Now, are you a legitimate? I don't mean as contrasted with a crook, but are you a legitimate independent contractor? You come and go as you please, do what you want?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a vehicle. I provide all my expenses for that, all my business expenses. About 6 months ago, I started working for them, and with the idea that I had a very large territory, 240 miles one way.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's very large. But I felt it was a good opportunity. It was a good product. I had a lot of open territory. And my idea was to build it up and to sell some of the areas as I built them up. Well, what happened was about 3 months ago, they sent me a copy of their policy manual with a letter saying to sign it, and I did. Now I go to sell the very southern end of my territory, and they say in the policy manual it states that I can only sell. What they gave me was an exclusive right to service the accounts. They say I can only sell that for their recommended method.
Say that again. You can only sell what?
I can only. They gave me the exclusive servicing rights, and they said that I can sell that based on their method only.
What does that mean? What are you selling? Let's start with that.
What am I selling? I'm selling the opportunity for somebody to come in here to.
No.
Yes.
No. What do you sell on your route?
What do I sell?
In your business, what do you sell?
It's an international cookie.
An international?
To supermarkets.
Okay, an international cookie?
Well, it's companies out of Canada.
Okay. So you got a cookie route is what we got here.
Yes.
All right, and they're restricting what I suspect what we're getting down to here. Maybe I'm not. Don't put words in your mouth. Is they're saying you can't sell the franchise?
Yes. They were saying that there were no initial fees, no franchise fees. Mm-hmm. So when I do sell it, their method basically would equate to 0.75% of weekly gross versus comparable routes selling for 10 to 35 times weekly gross. I've never heard of this.
No, wait a minute. 0.75%?
Yes. In other words, basically, I feel my southern area is worth approximately $25,000.
How much is it grossing?
It's grossing approximately $2,000 a week.
And they're saying round numbers 1%?
They would like me to sell it for $2,000.
Huh. And you say other routes are selling for a lot more than that.
That's charity. I'd have to file nonprofit status. And meantime, I've encountered a lot of expenses because I'm putting a lot of time and effort into building this territory.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the deal doesn't look very good, but initially I felt there was a very good future.
Well, when we get back, I'd like to know, is there a written contract governing all this? Stick around. I'm Bruce Williams. This is Talknet. I'm chatting with a gentleman in Rio Grande, California. He's got himself cookie route. He wants to sell it. And the company now is saying, well, you can't, except under certain conditions. Now, do you have a written contract with this company?
No, all I have is I have a copy of the policy manual, and there was a letter stating that I agree to the policy manual. This is 3 months after I had started.
And you signed that?
Yes, I did sign that.
That's a yes. Now, the policy manual stipulates some kind of a formula?
Yes, but it uses the term recommended method to achieve a fair and reasonable selling price.
Well, recommended doesn't mean ironclad, I guess. Have you had an attorney review this thing?
I've got a friend who is also in the same situation as myself, and he's having an attorney review it.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't sound right.
Well, not. But how much is? Let's take this route that you're talking about. Okay.
Okay.
If you ran the route and you did it right, how much would you say it grosses $2,000 a week?
Yes.
How much can you make off of it?
Basically a gross income of $400 per week, but you're talking about realistically a day and a half worth of work.
But you got to provide a truck.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound like it's worth a whole lot of money. And what do you think it's worth?
I'd say based on the representation of the company.
Now, forget the company. We're talking about just what would it be worth on the open market.
I think that's a very fair price.
How much?
$20,000.
Boy, I can't see it on its best day. $20,000 to make $400 a week, gross, and of that $400, it's got to be your expenses. Got to run $200.
It's with the idea that this territory has a lot of potential business.
Potential you can't sell.
Yes, I understand.
I mean, if you can get 24, I mean, good Lord bless you. I don't see it happening. Not unless you find somebody who is slightly handicapped and has a lot of money. I mean, goodness gracious, it's not worth it.
Well, if you take some of the other, there's a very established company that's selling their routes 35 times weekly gross.
Are they getting it?
They're getting more than that. Their routes are minimum $125,000 for routes they're doing a gross of $2,500 a week.
And how much do they net?
I would say that they're probably about the same.
Well, anybody who pays that kind of money is ready for the funny farm. It's insanity. It's not worth it. Just not worth it.
I value your opinion.
You tell me a group that you said 30 times gross.
35 times.
Well, let's take 30s. Nice easy number to play. That's $75,000 for the privilege of having a route that grosses $2,500 a week. That nets maybe $500 before, or gross profit $500 before tax or before expenses. Well, anybody who pays that, let me tell you, please send them to me, because I got a whole bunch of good deals I want to bring to their attention. If you can get it, bless you, but I don't see it happening.
Okay.
You could spend that kind of money and get a much great. Put it this way: if you had $75,000, right? You get 10% on that long term. That's $7,500 without doing a tap. And here it's only going to bring in this instance, probably $15,000 working your tail off. So you're actually only earning $7,500. Your money's earning the other $7,500. Doesn't seem like that's worth it to me.
Well, it's a crazy world we live in.
You're absolutely well. Listen, and the bottom line has to be something is worth what a willing seller is prepared to offer that, and a willing buyer is able to pay. If you can find somebody willing to pay you $20,000, go get them.
Okay.
Good luck, kid.
Thanks for your time.
Off and running. Oh, yes, we're running into the control room. Okay. And then we'll come back at you tomorrow between 2:30 and 6:30 Eastern Daylight Time. 230 to 630. I do hope you'll join Sheila and I. We'll be taking your calls off the air for broadcast at a future date. The number then or this very instant, 800-TALK. NET. This is Bruce Williams. Very pleased to be with you on Talknet. Berryville, Virginia. Hello there. Welcome to Talknet.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi. How you doing?
Well, I've heard you many times talk about the wisdom of retaining an attorney when you purchase real estate.
You bet your life.
now, but as much as I've listened to you, I've not heard the other aspect, and I want to address that a little bit.
You really, if you're talking about when you're selling, I think you really have, but you haven't understood.
Okay.
So let me rephrase it. When you are involved in a real estate transaction as a buyer or a seller, in my judgment, if you don't have an attorney representing you, you do yourself an extraordinarily serious disservice.
In other words, the realtor doesn't really have all the tools you need.
Absolutely not.
I see.
Absolutely, positively, unequivocally not.
Okay.
Without question, not.
I won't argue with you.
No. Let me, for example, you're selling a house, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Do you know what representation is?
Oh, yes. What do you mean?
Do you know
it means that the person works solely for you.
No. No, that means it's something you could say is called a representation.
Oh, okay.
As, for example, this basement is dry.
Sure.
Well, you got to be very careful with representations. Because 6 months later, the guy comes up and hits you square between the eyes.
I see.
Well, your attorney is going to hopefully prevent you from doing that. Unless it's okay with me if you want to make them, but I mean, we're back to the same silly thing. I know that a lot of people don't agree with this, particularly some from my friends in the real estate business, and they are my friends. But we just disagree on this issue. Their contention is, a lawyer screwed a deal up. Now, that's possible. But I'd rather have the deal screwed up than I would have to live with a bad deal.
I see.
Which oftentimes happens. You are going to sit there when you close on this house. I assume it's a house we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to sign a ton of stuff, aren't you?
Beg pardon?
You're going to sign a ton of things.
Oh, sure.
Well, would you be willing to concede that 95% or higher of those things were prepared by attorneys?
I'll concede that.
All right. Now, given that set of conditions, doesn't it make a little bit of sense to have someone on your side that has the same training that can explain what you're signing to you?
Oh, yes.
Because, I would be willing to bet anything I got.
In other words, buying or selling.
Yeah, that people sit there and sign stuff, they haven't a clue what they signed.
Sure.
Well, I want to know. And as often as I get involved in real transactions, I have yet to go to one. In however many years I've been doing this, without my attorney.
I see.
And I will continue that.
Okay.
I practice, in this case, what I preach. Don't often do that.
I have one other question.
Sure.
Is it as foolish as being your own attorney to be your own realtor?
No. It's a different matter altogether. First of all, you're not going to be a realtor. Realtor is a trade name. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be selling your own house...
Yeah, if I want to sell my own...
A FSBO. You want to be a FSBO. For sale by owner.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. Uh-huh. There's nothing inherently wrong with do-it-yourself. Uh-huh. Does that mean the real estate agent doesn't make his or her money? No, they certainly earn their commissions. But when you paint your dining room, does that mean the painter doesn't earn his money? Clearly not.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of things you can do, but you realize it's a job you're picked up.
Uh-huh.
But selling the house, and there are things that they learn professionally that they can do it maybe better than you in some instances. However, I have no problem with that. No, whatever. And there's nothing to prevent you.
And particularly if you've got an attorney looking over your shoulder and helping you.
Let's separate the two things.
Oh.
They are separate areas.
Uh-huh.
Just as, what business are you in?
I'm in engineering.
All right, fine. You do the engineering. A complimentary person has got to be a draftsman.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not true?
Yes.
But you wouldn't eliminate yourself because the draftsman has certain skills, nor would you eliminate him because you have certain skills. You complement each other. When you file your income tax, if you have your own business or you're involved in a more complicated tax environment than the average bear, it's not exclusionary to have an attorney and have an accountant, is it?
No.
Because each of these people has certain skills to bring to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So... No, the attorney is not going to provide the skills that the real estate agent provides. You got to either have them yourself. The attorney's not going to screen your prospective buyers. It's not his job.
Well, you mentioned something about making representations. That's what I meant, something like that.
Well, you could screw up on that too.
Even if you had an attorney.
Sure, because you're there in the front. Once you made him, he's not there to guard every word that comes out of your mouth.
I see.
But the point being that the professional real estate person can help you in many, many ways, helping to get the house prepared, picking the right price, the appropriate price from their expertise, screening those people who are love to go look at your place but couldn't possibly afford it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would worry about, was someone who'd tie up your place with a little bit of earnest money.
Well, I mean, even beyond that, let's get forget about him. At least he's got something going for him.
Uh-huh.
How about the guy that just wants to wander through houses on Saturday? He has nothing better to do Sunday, doesn't enjoy golf, and football hasn't started, you know?
Yeah.
So they go out and look at houses all Sunday. Don't you love those people? Well, a professional hopefully can at least screen out some of them.
Yeah.
And, the qualification, though, when you take somebody's money, ask them pertinent questions.
Uh-huh.
For just the reason you described.
Yeah,
so they can't
contingency under which it comes back and that sort of thing?
Well, no, you want to know, what do you do for a living?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the guy says, I make Slurpees. You gotta believe he's not exactly a high wage earner. Good luck, kid.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. I mean, those are kind of elementary questions, or so it seems to me. Grand Rapids, hello.
Hi, Bruce. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. Need your advice because I'm getting mixed advice on this, and I'm in the middle.
All right. What are you in the middle of?
Situation is rent on my apartment is due on the 1st of the month.
You are the rentor.
Yes. Last week, or before the 1st, a week before the 1st, I went to I believe she's my apartment manager, and said I'm going to be a few days late with the rent because I'm in sales and checks come at odd times when commission is paid, and I don't always get it on time. And I explained that to her. I said, I was expecting the check this week. We'll not get it. We'll get it next week. Is that going to be a problem? She said, no, but you're going to owe us an extra $25. She said, hey, it's, not my rule, and if it was up to me, I wouldn't do it. Or, I mean, you wouldn't charge you, but, it's the rules. So I said, fine, whatever, I'll pay it because I'm not going to give you a check that's going to bounce. I checked my lease, read it through very carefully yesterday, and it does not say word one about any penalty for a late rent payment. All it says is due at 9 o'clock on the 1st.
If there's no penalty spelled out in the lease, then I don't believe they can charge you a penalty.
Okay, because what some people have told me is pay your normal rent, don't put the $25 in, and if they want it that bad, let them chase you. But my feeling is, and, I guess people can understand this as well, if I don't pay the $25 and they say, well, gee, we told you to pay $25 and you didn't do it, when I need, who knows, my, dishwasher goes
that's
up
also,
or whatever.
That's a very practical. You're right. They're not going to respond as quickly. But I would go back to the lady and say, I would be very happy to pay this if I could find some justification, but there's absolutely nothing in my lease that I'm able to see that describes this obligation on my part. Could you tell me where this came from? She said, it's a rule. Say, I'm sorry, rules don't apply here. What applies is the details of the contract between me and your boss.
I know the person, I have talked to this person before who is, I guess, he works for the company that owns the building. Should I call him and say, hey, where's this $25 fee?
No, I'd go talk to the manager first and make but she's your liaison.
Okay.
I talk to her first and say, look, I just don't see anything in my lease that obligates me to do this. Could you explain to me where this comes from? I'm not mad at you. Let's not have nothing. We're friends. But just ask.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, Bruce.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Why antagonize her? What do you get to win there? But I said, I'm not angry with you, but I'd just like to know where in the lease it requires me to do this.
Okay. Well, Bruce, I appreciate your advice.
Go get him, kid.
Thank you.
I'm Bruce Williams. Agree or disagree? Delighted you're here. This is Talknet. Nebraska. Hello there. Welcome to Talknet.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, kid. What's on your mind?
Well, I looking for some wise counsel, talking to anybody and everybody that I can, and I own a real estate company. I and another individual.
When you say real estate company, I take it you mean a brokerage of some kind?
Right, residential brokerage firm, right. And we've been very successful. There's 187 residential real estate companies in our market, and we've, in 2.5 years, climbed to number 12 in the market. We've worked hard and been very aggressive at it. I've recently had a company approach me asking for number one, for me to go into management with them at a salary plus commission, and second of all, for them to buy our company.
When you say our, does that mean
We've got a...
Well, wait a minute. You keep saying our and we. Who's the our and who's the we?
We've got a corporation, and I and another individual own 75% of the company.
And how about the rest?
The other we sold to 8 individuals as minority shareholders.
Why'd you do that?
Raise capital. We went into it each with $15,000, and we were able to accumulate $100,000 by being able to sell out the other 8%, or the other 25% of the 8 individuals.
Well, and what you're telling me then, you think that you said 25,000?
Right.
Well, that would mean that the value of the company supposedly is $400,000.
Right, which it's not.
It's less than that.
Right.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah, very much so. Problem is we're doing extremely well.
What does that mean,
extremely? In a matter of 2 months, we'll be totally out of debt. We're making a profit of about $5,000 a month at this point in time.
Oh, hold on. You're throwing too many things here for me, and I'm not sure I'm going to agree with your definitions.
Okay.
You said that you'll be out of debt.
Right.
But that doesn't include the capital that's been invested.
No, right. That has not been refunded.
Or recaptured, I think is the term.
Right.
So you're not out of debt to that extent.
Right.
Secondly, you said it's making $5,000 a month.
Right.
Now, does that mean before your salaries or after your salaries?
No, that's after salaries.
After your salary?
Right.
After your other principal's salary?
Right.
And you're showing a $5,000 profit. How much are you drawing down?
Not a lot. I'm still selling as a residential agent.
Don't just how much?
About $800 a month.
Well, no wonder you're showing a profit. You're taking nothing out of it.
Right.
Well, why is that? How about the other guy?
He's not taking anything out either.
Well, that's not very smart. I'm sure your accountant must have told you that.
Well, yes and no.
Well, what do you mean yes and no?
He's been telling us to take out, pay ourselves benefits, pay our.
No, wait a minute. You got $60,000. You're telling me of gross profits after your salaries.
Right.
Well, if you leave that in till the end of the year, you're going to pay corporate taxes on that.
Right.
Well, that's crazy. When you're taking such a small salary, then what's left you distribute to you, and you pay taxes on it.
Uh-huh.
Well, why not pay it to yourself and skip the corporate taxes?
Right. Well, the dilemma that I'm in is they want to buy the company.
How much?
They're talking initially $15,000 down, and then they would give us a percentage over the next 3 years.
Of what that amount?
That would be 15% of whatever my agent.
Just give me some numbers. You look. These are all very nice percentages and mean nothing.
Right.
Give me some money here, some numbers.
They would give me 15% of the bottom line, which at this point in time would be the $60,000.
So let me see. That would be $9,000 over. That's $27,000 plus 15.
Plus 15 up front.
That's $42,000.
Right.
What are your investors going to say to all this?
Well, a lot of them are older, and they don't have a problem. They
don't have a problem. You're screwing them to the ground, and they don't have a problem?
Yeah.
Are they going to get their $25,000 back?
No.
Well, then you stuck them, didn't you?
Well, I don't know. That's my dilemma.
Well, what dilemma? Hold it. Wait, hold it. Hold it.
Okay.
There's going to be $42,000, according to your numbers, whacked up.
Right.
You're going to get, what's it worked out? If you're equal partners, the other guy, 37.5%.
Right.
He gets 37.5%, and the remainder goes 25. Of the other guys get their 25% of 42,000, which would be 8,402, 84, 94, 10, $11,000. A little less than $11,000. They're going to lose 60 cents on the dollar.
Uh-huh.
What do you say, uh-huh? Are these friends of yours or relatives?
No, they're friends. Yeah, they're friends.
They won't be long. You're sticking it to them.
Yeah, they all knew what they were getting into when they got into it.
But you're telling me you're doing so well, and then you stick them.
Well, and that's, I don't want to. But I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing, looking out for my future.
Well, one of the two things. You're either going to stick them or look out for you.
Uh-huh. Which I don't want to do.
Well, and then you can't sell. Then you cannot sell at that price, or you got to give them their money.
Okay.
That means you give them 25, and you guys take the other 17 or $8,000 a piece. 16, whatever it works.
Okay. Good. Well, that'll give me something to go back to the negotiating table with.
I don't see where you have much to negotiate with.
Right.
Take good care, kid.
Thanks.
I'll tell you something. This guy should be selling securities, though. How he conned people into putting in $25,000 into that enterprise that's not worth double that amount of money and get a 25% equity share. Man, I mean, he would make some promoters that I know look like rank amateurs. Tomorrow between 2:30 and 6:30, Sheila and I will be anxiously awaiting your call. 2:30 to 6:30 Eastern Daylight Time. I do hope you participate. The number then or now is 800-TALKNET, or then or now 800-825-5638. I'm Bruce Williams, delighted you're here on Talknet. Lexington, Kentucky, it's your turn. Hi.
How you doing, Bruce?
All righty, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I have a pet store, okay, where we groom dogs.
All right.
And a lady come in, she had 3 Shelties.
Okay.
Okay, and they were in poor condition, which that means they had a lot of matting in them.
All right.
And she says that, she had them combed out before, and that she wanted to have her dogs combed out, which I recommended to her that they be shaved down due to the condition of her pets.
Shaved down.
Right.
In other words, they're just so matted that you couldn't comb this stuff out.
Right.
All right.
And she didn't want to have nothing to do with that.
All right.
Okay, so I advised her that I couldn't be held responsible for any, skin irritations due to the condition of her dogs. And
she said
she understood that, or she said okay. She just wanted to have them done. And okay, I went ahead and we done it for her. And they did get one of the dogs got a skin irritation, okay, which she had to take it to the vet for. And I had told her what could happen beforehand. She's taken pictures of her dogs. She's sent it to the Better Business Bureau on me. And she's also to a lot of the shops here in town.
What kind of shops?
Like other grooming shops, veterinarians. She's sent notes saying that I hurt her dog, that I intentionally hurt her dog, and that I didn't say anything like that to her. And I had witnesses there with me, stating that, that I did tell her that, because that's traditional. We tell everyone that if their dogs are in bad condition. And I wondered what you think I can do about this.
Well, you see your attorney. You may be slandered here.
Right. Now, I spoke with my attorney.
And he said?
And he told me that he didn't think, he said, if it seemed to hurt your business a lot, that you may have something. But the attorney I was talking to didn't want, he acted like it was too much of a problem for him or something like that.
Well, it's not so much of a problem as that you have a relatively small business, and so your potential for damages is also quite small.
Right.
And he's saying, he's saying that it's probably not worth his time. Now, you're telling me that there's been she's written things to various people. You have copies of every one of those things.
Right.
And hold on now, I only got a few seconds. And keep a list of the people that she has spoken with that you know. You think I know them all now, but you're able to forget.
Right.
And the dates, if you have it, and as much as you can find out